Sports presents Texas High School Football. Tonight's game features the Vernon Lions taking on the Hirschi Huskies. From Memorial Stadium in Wichita Falls, Texas, as we get set for tonight's Game of the Week. Good evening, everybody. I'm Skip Boyden along with Tim McMillan. And, Tim, we should be in tour for a good football game here tonight. Both teams coming off a loss, and the biggest loss of them all, of course, the Vernon Lions last week.
Vernon coming off a loss 14-6 to Tampa, a game in which the offense did not score a touchdown. The first time that's happened since they played Everman to a 6-6 tie with 2 field goals in 1988. Also, Hirschi coming off a shutout loss to Denison after they beat Ardmore. So, Vernon and Hirschi both looking to rebound from losses last week.
Now, this has always been a rivalry for these two teams as they come into tonight's ball game tied up in the series. So the winner of tonight's game will take the lead, but the Lions have won for the last 3 years.
That's right. There are 3 ties with 12 wins each, so this is the rubber match. Whoever wins tonight takes the lead in the series between the 2 schools.
Now, Leo Britton's team is always a good ball club, and, of course, he has another good quarterback as far as Tom Inlow is concerned.
Well, Leo Britton, it's Chris Inlow.
Oh, Chris Inlow.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. Chris Inlow is a good quarterback. He's a 3-year starter. He's number 18, and you see him there on the screen. He's resting a little bit before the game starts. But what you'll find from Chris Inlow is he's as good a scrambler as he is a thrower, and that's what makes him such a tough threat. He can get out of the pocket and run, so Hirschi's going to have to keep him contained with the linebackers.
As far as Hirschi is concerned, Carl Miles is their leading, but he didn't track last week.
Carl Miles is a player that they need tonight to have a big game. He's an experienced player who did not play last year, but he's older, experienced and age-wise, and so I think they'll be looking for field leadership from him tonight. And important for Hirschi tonight is they must stay close early. If they fall behind early, they are not a good catch-up team. They keep the ball on the ground. So what they need to do is keep it close. It'll be Hirschi speed against Vernon size and execution.
Also, the Huskies had a lot of penalties a week ago, and they must stay away from those as well.
Something they've been victimized by all season long. They opened in that game against Gainesville that you saw on WFTV here, and they had 15 penalties in the first half alone. So they got to play clean football.
All right, both of these making their last appearance as far as for entering the district play next week. So that is very important as well. The last tune-up for both of these two ball clubs. We take a look at the game conditions for tonight. A nice night for football. You see the temperature 89 degrees, partly cloudy. Wind out of the south, and as it is every Friday night here at the stadium, the wind is always an important factor.
The front is on the way, though.
All right. The playing surface, of course, is dry and fast, and that, of course, will help both teams here tonight.
It will help both teams. It depends, of course, which way the wind goes. You know, you may see a situation here tonight where a team may elect to take a certain direction from the coin toss and try to catch that cold front coming in, so they've got the wind at their backs. It's kind of a guessing game, so who knows what we're going to see.
All right, a lot of fireworks coming up next between the Lions and the Huskies. We'll have it for you up next on WFTV.
If you're looking for an affordable, attractive community college with a motivated faculty, challenging instructional programs, and a variety of campus activities, then Vernon Regional Junior College is the right place for you. We offer a variety of strong academic and vocational programs to prepare you for immediate employment or for a successful transfer to a senior college or university. VRJC is a fully accredited 2-year college with a co-ed enrollment of approximately 1,900. Cross the bridge to a richer future at VRJC.
This portion of Vernon Lions football provided by Sullivan Funeral Home. The Otis Smith family and staff are proud sponsors of the Fighting Vernon Lions.
All right, let's go down to the field right now and get the opening coin toss.
He has won the toss, and he's going to defer. Hirschi, you can receive the ball down at that end. Okay? You're going to kick over here. Okay, man. Good luck.
Good luck, fellas. All righty. The Huskies will receive the opening kickoff, and they will have to do something that they couldn't do last week, and that is put the ball in the end zone. They didn't move the football inside their opponent's 30-yard line. They have to do that tonight.
Well, they have to do it, and they start off into the wind. We saw in the pregame show there it was about an 18-mile-an-hour wind. It's fluctuating a little bit, but it is out of the south, and Hirschi will start into the wind, so crucial for them to have a good series of downs. There you see the balloons going up. The teams are coming on the field. This taped a little bit earlier, of course, but Hirschi in there for a good... Oh, sorry about that. Hirschi's in there for a good game tonight. Well, you know, one of those things you do, but that's the miracle of videotape, folks. That can be changed.
All right. As far as Vernon is concerned, of course, they have a tough defense, and we will get a chance to take a look at that. Of course, their number one man is Dietrich Morris, the nose guard. And they will definitely try to keep him out of the Hirschi backfield tonight.
Dietrich Morris is certainly the leader on the defense for the Vernon Lions, and somebody who they're looking for to step up and rally their crew. As we said earlier, Hirschi's loaded with speed, so that may be the test for the Vernon Lions tonight. Vernon also has some speed, but certainly Hirschi with some of their outside players, Kendrick Sapp, among them, some of the people on the field for the Huskies that have excellent speed. There was some question as to Andy Ortiz tonight, whether or not he was well and well enough to play. He was featured in the Times and Record News earlier this week, so we'll see if he gets out there and gets some good playing time.
There's the kick. It will be touched by an up man and steps out of bounds at the 12-yard line. And it was finally picked up by Sapp. And Sapp had a great ball game a week ago, offensively and defensively. But this one he should have let go out of bounds. We'll take a look at it.
Well, you may see there. You might see the ball maybe touched. Actually, there you see him stepping out of bounds. Apparently, the ball was touched by the up man, which of course Sapp had to then field the ball. It was live and in play, and his momentum simply carried him out of bounds.
So the Huskies start off deep in their own territory. They're put it down at the 11-yard line. And opening up at quarterback is Jamie Anderson. Now, of course, J.J. Jackson had most of the time a week ago, and Anderson came in the second half. First play of the game on a pitch, student body left, and nowhere to go, and finally trapped in the end zone, and that will be a safety. Carl Miles just couldn't get any traction on that far side.
A difficult play there for Carl Miles as the blocking didn't pan out, and good penetration by the Vernon Lions. They open up, knocking him for a loss of 11 yards and a two-point safety. Of course, now they'll have the free kick. Carl Miles, someone we talked about who had to have a good game for the Hirschi Huskies. Here you'll see it on replay. The pitch goes to Miles, and the blocking starts, but excellent penetration there by number 14, Michael Lee of the Vernon Lions. Then you get some support from the other Vernon Lions, and hence the safety. So 2 points Vernon to start off with.
Michael Lee, 210-pound cornerback, read the play well. Just a simple student body left, and he didn't have any place to turn it up.
Well, in a situation where Carl probably would have been better maybe to take the 5 or 6 yard loss and come back on a second down, but it is early. He's probably full of a little vim, little vinegar, and want to make something out of the play. So, unfortunately, it results in a safety, and the Huskies will have a free kick if they elect to do so, either punt style or they can put the ball down. It looks like they will put the ball down on a tee, and they will be kicked off from the 20-yard line. So Vernon looks to get good field position from this free kick.
So a key mistake early, the kickoff, and then on top of that, the first play from scrimmage. So they find themselves trailing by a score of 2-0 as they kick off. This one taken at the 27-yard line. And there's room to run on the outside, down the sideline, and finally they say he stepped out of bounds. On the return is Michael Lee, and we just talked about him. He's the one that made the safety tackle.
That is the man that made the safety tackle, and Michael Lee showing some good speed there for a young man, 210 pounds. Took it around the outside. You'll see it here on replay. The ball, of course, kicked from the 20. Looks like he fields it, at about the 36-yard line, and he takes off, gets a couple of good blocks there, one by Cherry and chased there by number 17, and finally run out of bounds. Sam Walker on the pursuit there for the Hirschi Huskies.
So Chris Edlow, 109-pound senior quarterback, will take control of the offense with great field position. They put it down at the Husky 46. First play from scrimmage on a handoff, but there are flags on the play.
I think we're going to have one of the Hirschi Huskies lined up offside. It appeared that their hand was in the neutral zone as they lined up, so that will go against Hirschi, it appears, and they'll pick up 5 yards, still be first down. We'll get the call here in a bit.
Ball was given to Cherry on the very first play of the ball game. Cherry, a 5'11", 200-pounder, runs the 40 at 4.4. Good speed. He rushed for 688 yards, 12 touchdowns a year ago. Here's the call.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Offside Huskies. We talked about the Huskies a week ago, over 100 yards worth of penalties.
Yeah, the Huskies need to execute. That's critical for Tom Chancellor's team. They must execute and play mistake-free football.
So they run the single set back, and Enlow looking to throw. Has time. Sails this one down the field. It was underthrown, and the receiver did a fine job in coming back and trying to catch that one, but unable to tuck it in.
Incidental contact on the play there. Ray Lewis mad at himself that he didn't stay on his feet. It was down there covering number 19, Brandon Favors. The gentleman looks a little taller than Ray Lewis is, but Ray Lewis had some good coverage. There you see the starters for the Vernon Lions, the line, and then the backfield. We talked about Enlow. There's Willie Cherry, and Billy Gaines will be the tailback or the fullback. Willie Cherry will be kind of the tailback or slot back tonight.
Second down and 5 after the long incomplete pass. Here's the draw play to Cherry, and Cherry is smothered in the backfield, and the ball is loose. The Huskies say they have it, but no call yet from the officials.
It appears that they have given it to him. They have given it to him.
The Huskies stripped the ball out of there.
Malcolm Lott, number 72, stripped that ball right out of the hand. Was that ball given to Cherry?
Cherry it was.
You'll see it here on replay from our ground-level camera. Let's see if we can see Lott reach in there. There you see him. There it was. He didn't strip it out of the hand. It squirted out of there. Lott picked it up, fell down, and it's 1st and 10. Hirschi Huskies. First break of the game goes their way.
Malcolm Lott, the 210-pound junior, with the fumble recovery, and the Huskies are out of what could have been a bad situation. So we will reintroduce the Husky offense to you after this first play. Anderson unable to throw the football.
You know, if Anderson had been able to stay on his feet and keep his feet a little bit, he might have had some receivers down there. As it was, Detrick Morris, the young man we talked about, got in on the play. There you see the starters on the offensive line for the Hirschi Huskies. Jeff Higgins, just a sophomore, starting tonight. And there you see the backfield for the Hirschi Huskies. Tyrone Cherry, we'll check on that. Ray Lewis and Kendrick Sapp. Tyrone Cherry, that's right. So when we say Tyrone Cherry, we're on the Hirschi side.
And Willie Cherry's on that.
When we say Willie Cherry, we're on the Vernon side. So stay with us tonight, folks.
Jerry Anderson on second down. On the option, pitches it forward and brought down at about the 43, 44-yard line. And that was Carl Miles. That time they tried to run it to the short end of the field as we look at it again.
Short end of the field, not a lot of room to work with, and consequently the play just took a little too long to develop. But there you see Miles taking the pitch, and a nice job to hang on to the ball as he was hot. Pretty good.
As we look at the Vernon defensive line, of course, you see led by number 54, the nose guard. We'll take a look at the secondary here in a minute. Third down at about 12. Looking to throw, and a quarterback draw across the 50 in Lions territory at the 47-yard line. Shy of the first down, though. It will bring up a 4th and 4, and on comes the punt team.
You know, it looked like that was a busted play, and Jamie Anderson, an excitable young man, looks like he's a little frustrated with his teammates. But what we're going to see here is a punt for Hirschi, and we need to see Hirschi pin the Vernon Lions deep if they have a chance here. They don't want to give up a big return. So a nice kick here. Take over. There you see the punting statistics so far this season. A beautiful kick goes up in the air.
Stewart nails it inside the 8-yard line, and the Lions try to return, and finally brought down at the 9-yard line. A 1-yard pickup on all of that running. That was Kyle Williams, number 10. And the Lions will start off at their own 9-yard line.
James McKinney had Williams by the foot and absolutely wouldn't let him go. There you see number 44, James McKinney, there staying in on defense for the Hirschi Huskies. So now they have an opportunity here to let their defense do some work. If they get 3 downs and out, they're likely to get the ball back in good field position.
8:59 to play in the opening quarter, and the Vernon Lions lead it by a score of 2-0. As they come out to touch the football for the second time tonight. Enlow rolling out, now decides to run it, crosses the 15, and knocked out at the 17-yard line.
Jamie Anderson. Is that Jamie Anderson in there on the stop? No, that looked like number 21. That would be number 21, Kendrick Sapp. This big Anderson played there on defense. That was Kendrick Sapp in there of the stop for the Hirschi Huskies. But there we saw Chris Enlow's ability to scramble, and we talked about that in the pregame, and that's something that the Hirschi Huskies are going to need to keep a rein on there. You saw a defensive back making the stop on a quarterback scramble in the open field.
Now, Anderson did play a lot of defense a week ago as 50's quarterback, and for the first half, he probably won't see any action in that defensive secondary. Right, I thought it did. Second down and about 2 after the 8-yard pickup. The delay draw. Cherry, big hole. First down across the 30. One man to beat. He's across the 50. There'll be a foot race. See you later. Touchdown, Vernon. Oh, my.
That's a big-time touchdown, folks, and that's exactly what the Hirschi Huskies couldn't afford to give up right now. That play started on the 17-yard line. So credit Cherry with an 83-yard touchdown run. You'll see the replay here, and as you see, once he got through the line, it was between himself and the linebacker, and he put a great move on. Watch this move he puts on right there. Right there he puts on an excellent move, and then it's a foot race, and that was all over. So Cherry takes it in from 83 yards for the first touchdown of the night.
We talked about Cherry, one of the key men. He scored 12 touchdowns a year ago. Here comes the extra point. Ball is down, and the kick looks good, and it is. So with 8:27 to play in the opening quarter, the Huskies find themselves down by a score of 9-0. We'll come back.
Here you're going to see the replay from the above-the-field cameras. Watch this move again by Cherry. Right there. That move was an excellent move. That's what sprung him. It was between himself and Ray Lewis for a touchdown, and Lewis was unable to catch him.
Back live, this kick will go through the end zone, and the Huskies will start off at the 20-yard line, touching the football for the second time tonight. As we'd like to thank all of our fine sponsors for the 93 football season.
Our sponsors tonight, Apple Chiropractic, Dental Works, Falls Lincoln Mercury, Humphrey Printing, the Parkway Grill, Union Square Federal Credit Union, and Wichita Furniture, as well as Vista Cablevision.
And also the Ramada Hotel. I'd like to thank them for joining the bunch. And fine staff that they have over there with the fine facilities at the Ramada Hotel. First and 10 from the 20. Anderson didn't have a lot of time to throw the football a week ago. This time he dumps one off, and it completes to Sam Walker. And Walker able to hold on to the football. And we'll look at the stats far as Anderson and Jackson.
Coming into the ball game, you see Anderson certainly throwing the majority of the passes and accumulating the majority of yards, each with a touchdown pass. But some folks may remember the pass J.J. Jackson had. He came off the bench threw a 30-yard touchdown pass in a game a while back, so he can't put the ball up.
5-yard pickup on that last play. 2nd and 5 from the 25. On a handoff, Miles unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. He will lose a yard on that play. And leading the way for the Vernon Lions that time was Wilson, number 72, 240-pounder. He's a senior, and boy, all of him on that play.
There you see the rushing stats for the Hirschi Huskies. Miles, their workhorse, averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Also Carl Eggins, who we haven't seen carry the ball yet tonight, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. He's also one of their featured backs.
3rd down, 3rd and about 6. Be a passing situation here. Anderson, sideline, is caught. Let's see if they give him a good spot over there for the 1st down.
It will be a spot. They will need a spot. You know what? You mentioned something earlier, Skip, that I think is going to be critical to Hirschi tonight, and that is quick developing plays. They cannot take a play that takes a long time to develop because Vernon will be on them. There you see the receiving stats thus far this year, and Melvin Walker,
Cherry just got that last one, so add one to him.
Add one to Cherry. There you go. That's right. Well, you know, Hirschi is not a team that is noted for passing. Wichita Falls High School this year is doing a lot of passing. Hirschi with a little more balanced attack, and they must execute tonight. Let's see if they can do 1st down and 10.
They pick up their first down of the ball game, and they have it at the 30-yard line. Miles on the handoff. And Miles across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And you mentioned as well, Hirschi used to the big plays. They don't like coming from behind. They're used to big plays like the Lions just had on them. And unable to do that a week ago, they want to get some offense going.
We'll get a first look maybe at Carl Eggins. He's coming in to replace Miles, spelling him a little bit. Miles is not going to get any easy yardage tonight. So number 23, Eggins in the backfield now. Single back.
3 wide out to the top of the screen, and they come to the near side, and Anderson was looking to pitch that thing, but he did the smart thing and held on to it and picked up a couple of yardage. Will be 3rd and short.
He did a very smart thing by holding on to it. He was, you saw his elbows almost motion to pitch that ball, but now he faces a 3rd and 3, a situation where Vernon may not know what they're coming out to do. Miles is back in the game, back in the backfield. They'll go with the three wide receivers off to the left, so let's see what Hirschi does.
4 down linemen, 2 linebackers. And it looks like, well, they were showing the blitz. Now they fall back. Miles on the handoff, and he will be close to the 1st down, but looks like he'll be a little shy.
Looks like he'll be about a yard shy. So a big call here for Tom Chancellor, and it looks like he's going to send in the punting unit.
And the punt team comes on. Stewart comes on right now to punt it away.
Running back Charles Miles, outstanding in his field, is ranked 3rd in District 5 4A in rushing coming into this game. 57 carries, 243 yards.
Stewart getting set to punt for the 2nd time tonight. Kyle Williams back deep. Williams will watch this bounce, and I don't know if he touched it or not, but he's going for it, and he finally gets on the football at the 15. So I think he did touch it, because if he hadn't touched it, he wouldn't have been worried about jumping on it.
Yeah, that's right. We may see that on replay, and we'll see perhaps if he did touch it. As it is, it took about a 15-yard roll for the Hirschi Huskies, so a good break there for Hirschi. Vernon does not get the field position that they expected to get. Here you'll see the punt. Let's see if it does touch him. Well, not little tough to tell.
Shoulder pads
sure, but you know what? When it's close like that, you never know how the referees are going to call it. So you got to go back and cover it. But probably would have been wise just to get away from the football in that situation.
Smart thing there. 4:45 left here in the 1st quarter. 9-0 our score. The Vernon Lions lead it. On the handoff, Cherry, and Cherry gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe squeezing out a yard or 2.
Good defense there by number 77, Rick Meekum, the 210-pound junior for the Hirschi Huskies. He was the first of the Hirschi Huskies to get to Cherry there, and then was joined by some of his teammates. So, Hirschi stopped Cherry there and makes up a 2nd and 10. Clock is running at 4:18 to go in the ball game. Some defensive changes being made by Tom Chancellor, the defensive coaches right now. Plenty of time still on the 25-second clock. Little confusion. Got 3 wide receivers out to the left. Single setback.
And single coverage on those receivers, too. Enlow being pressured, throws this one away and out of bounds. And a flag thrown down, and the Huskies have had their share of penalties on the far side. A flag thrown down, but they've had their share of penalties this year.
What you're going to see here is number 17, Sam Walker, apparently getting a little over exuberant here. Right there, and the pass was clearly uncatchable, and he still popped the receiver while he was out of bounds. I think you're going to see a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty here against the Hirschi Huskies. And I tell you what, folks, that hurt.
Dead ball,
they had him
personal foul,
3rd down and 10 on the 15-yard
penalty,
line, and now
first down.
And on the nearly the 30-yard line. So that is a very costly penalty.
Their second penalty of the night, that one for 15. Their other one was for 5, so 2 penalties, 20 yards. Remember, a week ago, over 100 yards worth of penalties. That one, as you mentioned, a costly one, gives them a first down right at the 30-yard line, and Enlow has more room to work with. Caught on the side, and it will be a catch. They'll roll it at the 34-yard line, and that's Favors, number 19. Brandon Favors with the catch.
Looks like Favors may have hurt his knee a little bit. He's kind of limping back to the huddle there. Billy Quintero, one of the leading Hirschi Huskies in the secondary, was in on the stop and kind of maybe pushed a little bit when he was down on the ground, but that's football, and Billy's there trying to win this game for the Hirschi Huskies. So good, hard-nosed football there by Billy Quintero.
3 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the opening quarter. 9-0 to score. Enlow with pressure throws this one down the sideline, and it's incomplete.
3rd down and 5 now sets up for Hirschi, and you see them in this 3rd down situation. So, like one of those situations where the yardage is such they could run for it, they could throw for it, they could do a draw play. A draw here to Cherry is something that if I'm Tom Chancellor and the defensive coaches, I send a player and say, watch for the draw. Keep the linebacker home because this is a great situation to pull Cherry on a draw. So keep one of the linebackers for the Hirschi Huskies home.
Quintero had good coverage that time on Frank. And the secondary's been doing a pretty decent job.
They really have. They have not been letting the receivers get open for Chris Enlow.
3rd down. Here's draw to Cherry. Good move again across the 40-yard line, and another first down for the Vernon Lions. What a run that time for Willie Cherry.
Well, I sat up here and called the play. Watch the draw to Cherry. Keep a linebacker home, and they tried. It looks like Billy Quintero. We're going to see a replay here, but it looks like Billy Quintero's a little bit hurt. Now let's take a look at the replay here. 1-2. Hirschi Huskies had a shot at Cherry, but he was able to wiggle away and high-step another Hirschi Husky on his way to a first down. And again, we talked about keeping a linebacker home, and Hirschi did their job. They kept linebackers home. They got penetration. That was simply effort by Cherry that created the play and allowed him to pick up the first down. So nothing wrong with Hirschi there and their coverage and their execution. They simply were outgunned by a back who put on some good moves.
Another first down. They put it down at the 46. Draw again to Cherry, and Cherry this time is covered up. A lot of red shirts cover him up. They will give him the forward progress, though.
Well, it looks like the forward progress is going to be backward progress. He's going to lose about 1.5 yards on the play. Great coverage there by just about everybody on the front line of the Hirschi Huskies. Good penetration. And you know something? This is a team that is smaller than the offensive line of the Vernon Lions, but they are getting penetration. They're beating them off the ball, and they're working their way in the gaps, and that is going to create problems down the road for Vernon. So Hirschi, keep it up.
Well, Tom Chancellor noted that he can't wait till they start playing in their district. They'll start playing guys their size. Draw play to Cherry. Catches it at the 40 and now cuts it up. Across the 50, loses the football. And the Huskies say they are on it, and they are again. The second turnover of the night for the Vernon Lions, and the Huskies recover it at the 47-yard line.
Willie Cherry was putting on some moves, and the ball was simply, looks like it was punched out of there. Let's see who comes up off the ground. It's number 32. Number 32 for Hirschi. That's Ray Lewis. Young man's had a good game tonight. Let's take a look at the replay here. It's a screen play set up nicely by Vernon. You'll see the fake there, the play-action pass. There's the pass in. Now let's see who may punch this out. Number 80, it appears perhaps number 80, Antoine Wright, got a hand on that football and punched it out on the ground. They're recovered by Ray Lewis.
All right, now let's see if the Huskies can turn the turnovers into points. They were unable to do so on the first turnover. Good field position again. They put it down at the 47. They fake it. Or no, they give it to Miles. Miles with room to run across the 50 to the 44-yard line. A good 9-yard pickup for Miles. And he really needs to get loose. If he can get loose one time, then I think the Husky offense will click.
That one play right there that you see on replay here may be one that assists him in getting some confidence. You know, when you're a young guy, a young team at all, you're playing a team that's state-ranked, a team that's won a state championship recently, sometimes you just have to build the confidence, and a 9-yard run like that may do it.
2nd and 1. Anderson changing the play. Long count, 2 seconds on the play clock. He may not get it off. He did just in time. 1 second on the clock. This one incomplete.
Incomplete, and maybe some miscommunication there on the audible. Number 83 was there for coverage. Clayton Henry for the Vernon Lions. He probably had the best shot at that football, but this is a play now, a good play, not too bad to waste a play there, kind of maybe to try and gain something. 3rd down and 1 now. Miles comes back in the game. Eggins comes out. Also coming out, number 22, Sean Miser for the Hirschi Huskies. So Hirschi will be going with a single back. They'll go 2 wide outs, and it looks like they're playing 2 tight ends.
Carries up top on a 3rd and 1. Single step back, of course, is Miles. And they give it to Miles, and nowhere to go. Vernon Lion defense did a fine job that time in stopping that play. Wilson, the 240-pound defensive tackle, one of the first men to get there.
Little help from Dedrick Morris there, too, the young man we spoke about in the pregame show. They will be punting. They lost a couple of yards on that play, so they will be punting, and there you'll see a replay here.
And by the replay, looked like maybe the Lions might have got a little jump on that one on an offsides call, but no flags thrown down on that one.
Boy, great kick into the wind. Excellent kick down to the 4-yard line.
This is Williams, and Williams brought down at the 10-yard line.
James McKinney, number 44, is really standing out tonight, not only on special teams but on defense. One of the leaders for the Hirschi Huskies. He made that open field tackle and prevented a big gain on the punt return.
15 ticks remaining here in the opening quarter, and the Huskies have the Lions deep in their own territory. If you just joined us, it was a safety to open up the ballgame. The very first play from scrimmage for Hirschi. They were unable to get the ball to the outside of the field. The Lions had the safety, and then a big run from Cherry, Willie Cherry. And the extra point, that's where we're at with a 9-0 score. Cherry again, one man to beat to the outside, and a touchdown saving tackle that time by Tyrone Cherry on Willie Cherry.
Cherry on Cherry, that's right. We spoke about those two earlier, and they meet about the 30-yard line. Willie, unfortunately, carried Tyrone for about 15 yards, and, you know, if Willie keeps going the way he is with 83 yards on one run, he already has over 100 yards here in the first quarter. That'll be the end of the quarter, as a matter of fact, as the clock shows 3-0. We're going to go to a break here, get some of our sponsors in, and when we come back, Skip and I will assess the first quarter and see what we have to do going into halftime. There you see our list of sponsors again. We want to thank all of them for helping us bring great high school action to you, the viewers in Wichita Falls. Stay with us through this break as Apple Chiropractic, Dental Works, Falls Lincoln Mercury, Humphrey Printing, Parkway Grill, Ramada Hotel, Union Square, Federal Credit Union, and Wichita Furniture bring you high school football on WFTV.
Your college choice could be the most important decision you'll ever make. During college, you'll probably decide on a career, broaden your intellectual span, and meet new friends. You should consider your college choice carefully. At Vernon Regional Junior College, we're large enough to offer a wide variety of programs yet small enough to provide support and encouragement. Visit VRJC and see for yourself how we offer the best in quality education. Cross the bridge to a richer future at VRJC.
This portion of Vernon Lions football provided by Calvin Funeral Home. The Otis Smith family and staff are proud sponsors of the Fighting Vernon Lions.
Second quarter action underway. 9-0 the score. Skip Boyden along with Tim McMillan and the entire broadcast crew on a Friday night for football. What a night it is.
It is a beautiful night for football. Wind still out of the south. The front expected, but as it is, Vernon will be now going into the wind. Hirschi will have the wind at their back.
Enlow on the handoff to the end around, and only a couple of yards, if anything. Billy Gaines, the 170-pound, or making 175-pound junior, on the run as he gets his first carry of the night.
Gaines playing fullback tonight. Cherry listed as the tailback for tonight's game. And they're to switch it up a little bit on the end around. The play actually lost yardage there. It'll be 2nd down and 11. So good pursuit there by the Hirschi Husky defense. You know, let's talk a little bit, too, about Hirschi. You know, you take away one play, an 83-yard play for the Vernon Lions, and we got a 2-0 ball game. Hirschi has played good football tonight, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Now if they just get their offense to click a little bit, they'll be right back in there.
2nd down, Enlow to roll out with room to run, and he will. Across the 40, 1st down, and brought down at the 50-yard line. You talked about it the pregame, and this is one thing that they have to try to do is contain Enlow from getting to the outside.
About a 20-yard scramble there by Chris Enlow, the 3-year starter for the Vernon Lions, and that is one thing that Hirschi must do is contain his scrambling ability. Not blazing speed, but adequate speed, and more importantly, the ability to know when to scramble and when to throw, and that's one of the key assets of being a 3-year starter.
Another key tackle, though, by Tyrone Cherry. He makes another touchdown-saving tackle, but it's tough on you when your safeties and cornerbacks are making the tackle. 1st and 10, right at the midfield stripe. On a handoff, Cherry dives across the 50, brought down at the 48, but you want to see that front line make some more stops, because once they get past the front line, it's your cornerbacks and safeties making tackles, then you know who's dominating the pit.
That's right, and that tackle made by Andy Ortiz, the guy we talked about and was featured at the Times Record News. A possible injury to Ortiz may have limited his playing time, but he is on the field tonight, and he is starting there as listed, of course, as a linebacker, 155, also fullback. He's just a junior. He'll be back next year, and it is 2nd down now and 8 yards to go.
Enlow with time sets up a pass. It's caught only for a couple of yards on the play, though. Brought down at the 45-yard line. That's the big tight end, number 84, Sherman Cocker.
Sam Walker. Sam Walker for the stop for the Hirschi Huskies, and Sam put some big licks on tonight. Unfortunately, one cost him a penalty of 15 yards, but that one was a great hit, and actually he had a little bit of time there to scramble out, but Walker, good pursuit and a big-time stick there in the secondary. 3rd down and 4, 9:30 to go, 2nd quarter.
Coker with his first catch of the evening. Enlow to roll out again. This time they try to contain him, and they do. This time has to come back the other way with room, but finally covered up at the 50-yard line. Great job that time by the Husky defense. They contained him and stopped him from going to the outside.
Andy Ortiz, James McKinney got around the outside, forced Enlow to come back to our side of the field, and by that time, 3 Hirschi Huskies were able to pursue and close down and leave absolutely no place to go. Vernon will be forced to punt.
The first punt of the night for the Vernon Lions. And awaiting the snap. Good snap. And booting it away.
That's a real short kick. They're going to get away from that ball.
A smart thing that they do. Chris Enlow does the punting as well. This one ruled dead at the
25-yard line. Ruled dead at the 25. It bounced once and hit one of the Vernon Lions in the calf, and that's exactly where it'll be spotted. Great series of defense there for the Hirschi Huskies. You know, they were faced with some runs there. They were faced with an end around. They had a couple of screens. They had Enlow scrambling. He got loose for 20 yards, but they contained him on the next series of downs, and they get the ball back.
You see what they've been averaging for the season, 205 yards. But last week they didn't average a whole lot, and this week they haven't averaged a lot on the ground offensively. This time, right back to the line of scrimmage and nothing after that. And you talk about their young offensive line and just a young team all around.
They are young. They're very young. They don't have a majority of seniors, unlike some of the other teams in the Wichita Falls area. And some of their skill people, some of their defensive skill people, and their offensive skill people are underclassmen, and that makes a difference. There you see their offensive line, and you know, this is a team that is developing. This is a young team, and Tom Chancellor, first-year coach, has got a job ahead of him.
Right, but he knows that. Across the 25 and out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Good running that time from Sam Walker. And Walker
came around the end there and took the ball to the 35-yard line, it looks like. No, they're going to mark it at the 31, it looks like. Yeah, 31-yard line. So there you see it on the replay. And watch Walker here at the end. Oh, they're going to be face-to-face attack. He was just waiting for one more pop. And I tell you what, Sam Walker showed me tonight, he's a young guy who likes to hit, whether he's doing it on defense or on offense.
Third down call, 3rd and 4 from the 31. Rolling out, Anderson now throws a bullet, and it's incomplete. Tried to throw it on the far side to Sam Walker, and Walker unable to get that one, so that will bring up a 4th down.
Now, he had a fake there, and he brought a guard with him on the rollout, and may have thrown that ball a little bit in a hurry. You know, he had a little more time to complete that pass and get the ball to Walker while he was on his feet, but he didn't quite get it there in time. So what we have situation here, a 4th down and 4, a long 4. Hirschi will be punting, this time with the wind at their back, so they should get a nice kick out of this. Oh, and he gets the first poor kick of the night. Good roll, though.
They will watch this one, and they will finally rule it dead at the 28-yard line.
A 42-yard kick, approximately 15 of that on the roll, but you take it any way you can get it, particularly in the Texas wind and on artificial turf. Vernon will take over. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first half. 9-0 our score. There you see the scoreboard. And I tell you something, Skip. You know, if you're Hirschi, you don't want to be down on yourself. You don't want to say, well, we're not doing anything on offense. We're not doing anything. You know, the more important thing is you're containing them on defense. And I think with defense comes the offense. And so if they can just continue their confidence on defense, the offensive plays will come. They'll get their break.
Breaks they do need.
Single back is Cherry.
Cherry gets this one. Gets back to the line and squeezes out a yard to the 30-yard line. But you notice how many good moves that Cherry has.
He has good moves. Oscar Merritt there, another junior for the Hirschi Huskies in on the foot tackle, only a pickup of a couple of yards. And Cherry, last year, Cherry shared time with Dexter Butler, their other running back, and Butler, of course, is gone. He was slated to go to Ranger Junior College or to Tyler. I understand, talking before the game, he's not at either of those schools. Had a little trouble with making the physical. But Cherry now looked at as the workhorse for the Vernon Lions this year.
2nd down and 8. Play action, and it's incomplete. Tried to take off before he had it.
He sure did. He looked upfield. He saw a lot of green there, and he tried to make something out of a big thing out of a little thing. But to tell you, number 32, Ray Lewis for the Hirschi Huskies, had him in his sights, and had he brought that ball in, I think Lewis would have put a big lick on him.
Clayton Henry, another big tight end. Boy, they've got some big tight ends. Clayton Henry, Sherman Coker, and Kent Woodford, who we haven't seen him yet. But those are 3 big tight ends. 195, 185, and 55. Rolling out, Enlow with time. Good pass. He's open, and he makes the catch at the 30-yard line. Super catch from Favors. Favors did a fine job in retrieving that football.
a 40-yard completion there down to the 30-yard line of the Hirschi Huskies. And that was good coverage. It really was. It's simply a fact that the ball was over their heads and thrown, and they didn't quite adjust to it. Double coverage and a good pass by Enlow. If you're Hirschi, it's just unfortunate that your receivers jumped at the same time, or the receivers and the defenders jumped at the same time. You just couldn't quite get your fingertips on the ball. You'll see it here on replay from the ground-level camera.
And the time he has to throw.
Oh, a lot of time to throw. And there you see just over the outstretched hands coming back to live action. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. A busted play. Enlow scrambles, but he goes absolutely nowhere. Number 55, Shad Durham, in on the stop for the Hirschi Huskies.
Right cherry on that defensive coverage a play ago, and this defensive coverage did a good job that time, and they dropped him for about a yard loss.
With the exception of the 83-yard touchdown run by Cherry early in the game, that really is the first big play for the Vernon Lions after that. A takeaway, maybe a couple of scrambles there by the quarterback, but as far as big play execution, that's the first one in a long time. So, you know, it's 2nd down and long, 2nd and 12. Hirschi clock running at 5:40. If they can stop them here, it is a long field goal into the wind.
Of course, the Lions had their trouble a week ago with Tampa losing 14-6. This is Cherry, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage. We'll set up a 3rd down and about 12. As we mentioned also, though, Hirschi had their trouble with Denison losing 32-0. As we mentioned as well, this will be the last tune-up game, so if there's any little thing that either coach can do, they really want to try to experiment with it tonight.
Both teams open district play. Vernon opens at Iowa Park next week, and Hirschi opens here at home against Boswell High School. Boswell, not one of the better teams in District 5 4A. So if Hirschi can put on a good performance here, they got a good chance of picking up a district win in their first game.
3rd down, in low, play action, throws across the middle, and unable to hold on to it again. Sherman Coker, unable to hold on to this one. It will bring up a 4th down call.
4th down, the ball will be spotted about the 32-yard line, so make it about a 50-yard field goal into the wind if they want to go for it.
And that was one that Coker should have had, and that's twice now that the tight end has been open and unable to hold on to the football.
It looks like they will be punting here, so you got to watch for the fake, however.
Of course.
Tell you what, the situation is this is a place on the field where Vernon could get away with a fake, so you got to watch for that. They will kick it away. We got a flag on the play.
And this one will go into the end zone, but there is a flag. Flag thrown down at about the 17-yard line.
I wonder if that's too many men on the field. That's apparently what it looks like. It is
against the Huskies.
There's too many men on the field. As I count them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 Hirschi Huskies on the field at this time.
Oh, my.
And none went out to take over on offense. There you see number 23 coming off right now, Carl Egan. So they did have 12 men on the field to call.
Illegal participation, 12 men on the field, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
My, another crucial penalty. That will be a first down for the Vernon Lions, and the drive will stay alive.
Well, they will stay alive. Boy, that's a real unfortunate break for the Hirschi Huskies to have a 15-yard penalty. When you stop them, you're going to get the ball back, and it was 4th down and 12. You give them 15, and they have first down, and the ball is actually it's marked off from the line of scrimmage. So it will be first down and 10, ball on the 18-yard line. Tough break for Hirschi.
3rd penalty for 35 yards for the Huskies. And the Husky defense is having a little problem getting situated, and they want a timeout. And timeout on the field with 4:43 left. And that was a crucial play, Tim.
Yeah, a real critical play. You know, a situation where Hirschi had stopped them. Their defense has been playing well, and they did everything right. They just had 12 men on the field. Tough break. I tell you what, let's take a real quick break here during the timeout. Remind you, Falls Lincoln Mercury assists Vista Cablevision in bringing you high school football here, and we'll be back right after this. .443 left to play here in the first half.
and the Huskies trail by a score of 9-0.
9-0 Huskies had a golden opportunity there to get the ball back. Just got caught with illegal participation, 12 men on the field, and that's a 15-yard penalty. First down for the Vernon Lions. Ball spotted on what they say now is the 17-yard line as the pitch goes back to Cherry. Good open field stop there by number 21, Kendrick Sapp. That may have prevented a touchdown.
Here's a look at last week's action across the area. As you see, Azle all over Fort Worth Brewer, 45-29. It was Graham, a winner over Burke Burnett, 42-21, and Burleson over Boswell. You talked about Boswell not having a great team this year.
Right, Boswell not one of the stronger teams, and that is who Hirschi plays next week.
You see the rest of them. The big win in the rain for the Coyotes a week ago, and Tampa, a winner over Vernon, 14-6. Scores from the area a week ago. We'll tell you who else is playing tonight as well. We'll get you some of that action that's going on tonight. Enlow throws it away. Good job on that far side as coming in was Antoine Wright. And Wright did a fine job of just getting in Enlow's face.
Antoine Wright had a beat on Chris Enlow, and he threw the ball before the receiver was prepared to catch the ball. But I think he did that to avoid a sack because Wright was on him again. I tell you what, here we are, Skip, another third down situation. The Hirschi Husky defense playing very good football. And if they stop them here, it's a field goal, and they're only down 12. So, give credit, big-time credit to the Hirschi Husky defense. One play is all that's burned them so far, and a couple of penalties have really cost them. But let's see what happens here.
Enlow looking for a quick pass across the middle, and it's caught for the touchdown.
That'd be number 19, Brandon Favors, another one of the big receivers for the Vernon Lions.
Favors had one-on-one coverage across the middle, makes the catch, and goes into the end zone.
A quick hitting play. You see one-on-one coverage out there on the left side, as Skip said. Throws inside the receiver. There looked like the defender was number 21, I believe. Kendrick Sapp was there on the defense. They threw inside the defender, able to get him on the slant pass there and go in for 6.
Boy, he had him on the height as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Sapp is not that tall.
Exactly.
Here's the extra point. And it is no good, off to the left, and kicking the extra point was Dunston, Chris Dunston, 230-pounder. He's a senior. He boots this one off to the left, and no good.
That was an interesting kick, too, by Dunston, because he didn't have much of a lead, and he kind of did it straight on. And not a lot of kickers do it straight on anymore, but that's what he chose to do. So, actually 15-0 now, and that definitely keeps it within 2 touchdown striking range for the Hirschi Huskies.
So how important was that 12 men on the field penalty? Well, we can tell you it was 6 points important.
It was 6 points important, and it was for the morale and the confidence. It was really a crusher for the Hirschi Huskies. Carl Miles is going to go back to receive the kickoff along with Kendrick Sapp, and these are 2 people with good speed, of course, so if they get a kick back there that they can return, they could get the Huskies into good field position. And really, that would be great for the Hirschi Huskies right now. They need positive field position out of this. Also dropping back to help them out will be Sam Walker, the big hitter for the Hirschi Huskies.
Some other key games tonight, Justin Northwest playing at Seagoville, Capel playing at Azle, Boswell at Brewer, and of course the Coyotes are in Amarillo tonight to take on Amarillo Caprock in some action and some other 5A action. Allen taking on Flower Mound, Louisville and Sherman, and the Rider Raiders playing at Denton tonight.
Short kick off the side of his foot. It's fielded by the up man. We'll get his number here in a minute. He was smothered. It looks like number 81, Brandon Johnson, tight end, defensive end. Again, another one of the juniors for the Hirschi Huskies. He fielded that kickoff that was kind of a strange kick, and they'll have the ball in decent field position at the 23-yard line. You mentioned Wichita Falls High School. They're going for their 2nd win in a row. And also, big game for the Rider Raiders, taking on the top-ranked, at least in District 5 4A, at least the favorite as well, the Denton High School team.
Yeah, the Denton Broncos. Always a tough game in Denton. Always tough in Denton. All right, 1st and 10 with 3:44 left in the first half. Anderson overshoots the receiver, and that one was intended for
number 12, Mr. Cherry.
Yeah.
Tyrone Cherry out there for the reception. Anderson put some good zip on that ball, and Cherry had an opportunity to catch it. Probably threw a little strong, but he wanted to get there quick so that he could have some time to turn up and go upfield and make some yardage. It'll be a 2nd down and 10, and I think we might have I may have misspoke myself. Louisville, the Farmers are actually the favorite in 6-5A, but Denton is playing well, and Ryder is a surprise right now. So we'll see what happens. At least in some people's eyes.
Anderson running out of time now, steps up, throws this one down the field. It will be too far. 5 yards too far.
I'll tell you what,
that was fast.
Anderson put that ball about 55 yards in the air. He put some air under that ball. Unfortunately, it was about 7 yards long, but Jamie Anderson showing us what kind of a strong arm he's got.
He threw a lot of passes a week ago. Here it is from the ground, but he threw a lot of passes a week ago.
Coach Tom Chancellor opening it up a little bit, 2 passes, and there you see Kendrick Sapp just trying to get under it, but just couldn't. It'll be a 3rd down and 10 now. 3 wide receivers, single setback, and that single setback is Miles.
Sapp had Gonzalez beat on that last play. Looked like this one was going a little post pattern.
Offense, 5-yard penalty.
False start.
Procedure call will push him back 5 yards. I made a mistake on the single setback. It is Eggins. Carl Eggins coming out. Number 32 is Ray Lewis for the Hirschi Huskies. 3rd down and 15 now, and a play that really, if they don't get the 1st down, they need to move the ball out of that end of the field because a short kick, and Vernon gets the ball back inside the Hirschi Husky territory. So at least they need to pick up yardage that will allow them to push Vernon into their own end on a punt.
40 yards penalty so far for the Huskies. 3:33 left to play before the half. 3rd and long. Anderson sails this one down the field. It will be too far. And appears from just sitting up here that he's rushing his passes just a little bit. And most of that probably due to last week because Dennison really put the pressure on him last week where he had to get it off early. Tonight he doesn't have to get it off as early as he's throwing the football. He's got time to sit back there a little bit, but from up here it looks like he's just rushing it a little bit.
He appears to be rushing it. He is an excitable young man. He's been talked a little bit, and there you see one of the coaches, actually you don't see him there, but he is on the sideline talking to Jamie Anderson, maybe getting him to slow down a little bit, take his time delivering the football.
Also, J.J. Jackson now warming up on the sidelines. He may see some action in the 2nd half. Taken by Williams at the 40. Good cutback move to the 50 and brought down at the 49-yard line. Williams on the return.
They, too, take the ball. They put it into Hirschi Husky territory. They'll take over on, the 48-yard line. They put him on the right foot, so that'll be the 48-yard line. Vernon leading 15-0. Clock stopped at 3:16 to go in the 1st half. And the score is a bit misleading because Hirschi has done well, particularly on the offense or the defensive side of the football. They just haven't quite executed as well on the offensive side. Vernon has had their chances. They have been the ones to fumble so far tonight. We'll see Chris Enlow bring his team up. A quick hitter here. Kind of a misdirection play. Read well and stopped there. Number 55, Shad Durham, stayed home. He stayed with his receiver. Durham, one of the players that is doing well tonight. We mentioned his name before, and you see he was on number 19. That's Brandon Favors, the gentleman who caught the touchdown pass not long ago.
You see how much time left in the 1st half. 15-0 the score. And the Huskies just had a couple of bad breaks. It really is a closer game than what the scoreboard indicates.
Exactly.
2nd down and 7. In low to throw. Sideline pattern is caught. Still on his feet. And down the sideline and finally pushed out of bounds.
That's number 19 again, I think, Brandon Favors. And he's still down on the ground. He was rocked. He went for the extra yardage, but he was hit good. You'll see it here on replay. I believe that's Favors. Yes, it is. Brandon Favors. There you see him stay up, but look at him take those shots. Number 55, again, Shad Durham. Tell you what, we're going to take a timeout real quick, and when we come back, we'll have the final picks in the 1st half. We're back. 2:20 left to go. First half. Vernon is moving.
Enlow on the pass. It is broken up. Good defensive play that time by Sam Walker.
Sherman Coker, the intended receiver, and Sam Walker, the big hitter in tonight's ball game, broke that up. Walker getting some praise there on the sideline, and you see Walker going back to the huddle. Walker going. I thought you may be pointing something out to me.
No, I was
Walker's going back to the huddle with a little bit of instruction from the sideline. 2:15, the clock is stopped, of course. This is second down and 10, and Hirschi doing well on defense again, slowing them down. They've banned, but they haven't broken very severely tonight.
Okay, I was going to tell you, Walker's all over the field. He had that key hit on the sideline a while ago on a pass that is caught for a couple of yards on the pickup. Making his first catch of the night, Gerald Frank, number 44, the wingback.
Good pursuit by the Husky defense, finally closed in there by Billy Quintero. A short gain, real short gain, only about 4 yards, maybe 5 yards. It'll make it third down and 6.
Now, this is another key situation for the Huskies. Actually, Vernon has, they're in 4-down territory. Meaning that if they don't get it here at third down, they're going to go for it.
Kicking again into the wind, this field goal, and we saw the extra point was not pretty, so probably would opt to go for it on fourth down.
Enlow to throw, caught again by Frank, and Frank moves it inside the 20 to the 19, shy of the first down. It will be 4th and 2.
That was Carl Miles, it appears, on the stick, and I tell you what, it was a stick. We may see this on replay. May not see it on replay, but I tell you what, there's Miles, number 24, and he put his helmet right in between the numbers on the receiver and stuck in it. It will be 4th down and 1. Minute 17, the clock is stopped. We've got a timeout. And tell you what, Skip, we have a little bit of time here. Let's assess the first half as we witnessed it here. And, Hirschi, what they've done is not executed on the offensive side. The defensive side has done very well, particularly great play by number 44, James McKinney, Sam Walker, Ortiz, and Billy Quintero. Tyrone Cherry, excellent play. But what we haven't seen is the execution on offense yet. We may see a quarterback change coming out for the second half.
Yeah, and they've been doing that all season, too.
That's right. And that was my next follow-up, is not to be unexpected. Maybe just to shake it up a little bit. You can remember, if we go back, J.J. Jackson was brought into the game against Ryder, I believe it was, through a 30-yard touchdown pass, and that was his only pass of the entire game. So that's not unusual for Coach Tom Chancellor to do that. You'd be interested to see what he says to his team at halftime, and if it mirrors what we're observing up here, in that the defense is playing very well, take away a couple of plays. The offense simply needs to get right into it again.
A crucial 4th down, and what they've been running into are penalties at the wrong time. They don't need a penalty here. They need to come up and stiffen up on the defense.
You said 4-down territory. Here it is.
Full house in the backfield. Enlow gives to Cherry. Cherry has the first down, and the drive will continue.
They're giving him the spot up around the 16-yard line. That'll be plenty of yardage. We're going to look at it, and there you see the signal from the referee. It is a first down. It is a first down.
First time they had full house in the backfield.
There you see the handoff goes to Cherry. He goes off the left. Good blocking there. Good blocking by number 14, Michael Lee, as well as number 83, Clayton Henry. Two excellent blocks by those two members of the Vernon Lions football staff. They created the opening on the left side of the offensive line and allowed them to pick up the first down. There you see the clock ticking. 55 seconds left in the first half.
Lions have 2 timeouts to work with. Enlow with time, now being pressured and picked off at the 15 with room to run down the sideline. Will he have enough speed to go the distance? I don't know. To the 20, to 15, to 10, touchdown!
Unbelievable. Andy Ortiz being chased down by Willie Cherry, and Cherry had him in his sight. He went for it at the only time he could, and it wasn't enough. Andy Ortiz, we spoke about him earlier, they didn't even know if he'd play. He might have been injured, and he takes it back. I didn't see where he picked it off. It appeared to be about the 16-yard line. Takes it in 84 yards for the touchdown. Excellent play.
Oh, my. We're going to chance to take a look at it again. We'll see if he picked it off at the 15, or might have been the 5. Might have been the 5. It could be my mistake on this one.
Okay, here we
This is the play before that. We're looking at it here.
We're at the plate. Tell you what, there is a timeout on the field. We've got time. Let's go ahead and find that interception by Andy Ortiz. Here you'll see it. I tell you, the crowd is going berserk behind us. So they couldn't believe what they just saw, and I'm not sure we can either up here. There you see the rollout to the right. He's being pressured severely. He throws the ball right into the gut of Ortiz. Picked it off on the 11-yard line. That'll be an 89-yard return. And watch this. Willie Cherry barely got it, but Andy Ortiz takes it in. And I tell you what, that was a great play by Ortiz. And you talk about a confidence booster at the end of the half. Unbelievable for the Hirschi Huskies.
And you can tell that Cherry's the fastest man on the team because I would normally tell you, yeah, he's going to score, but I knew Cherry was on his heels there.
If we've got a field camera down there that I don't know where it's going, but Andy Ortiz is over here. He's got his helmet off, and he's got a cup of something in his hand, and he is breathing heavy, folks. I tell you what, he put everything he had into that run down there at the sideline. Great play. Trust me, he's down there. The field camera was looking for him, but he's down there. He's being congratulated by his teammates.
Anderson will get set to put it down and awaiting Stewart's foot for the extra point. Stewart's kick is good.
Delayed call there, but it is good.
It was close, and it was almost off to the left a little bit. He almost hooked it.
They looked, the two officials conferred with each other. They looked at it. It is good. 15-7, 34 seconds left to go in the first half, and that is exactly what the Hirschi Huskies needed.
A big boost from the defense, and sometimes that's what it takes. If the offense can't get it going, this defense has to get something.
We said earlier, before we went into half, we were assessing it, and we said the defense was playing well, and the offense was going to get their breaks. Here you're going to see it again, and we will, I promise, I'll get exactly where he picked this off. There we go. It was about the 13-yard line. Okay, well, we got it somewhere at 87 yards. There you see him. What? Here's Cherry. Look at, you saw Jamie Anderson saying, go, down there on the sideline. There's Cherry, gives him a final try, and it's no good. And I tell you what, Andy Ortiz, 155-pound junior. And I tell you what, I guarantee you, his family will be buying a copy of this game from WFTV, and they'll be watching that over and over and over and over again, and deservedly so, as the Hirschi Husky cheerleaders still celebrating on the sideline.
His first interception of the season, and to add to that, a touchdown on top of that. They get the Huskies back in the ball game, 15-7, 34 ticks left to play before the half, and coming up at the half, we'll have the highlights of tonight's ball game, the halftime statistics, and we'll feature the Hirschi Husky marching band. We'll do all of that at the half, 34 ticks away.
Odds are 2-1 that this will be a squib kick. No, it's not. So you won there. I can't believe they'd actually give Cherry a chance to return this, but let's see what happens.
3 yards deep. Cherry still on his feet. Gets a good block. And he is still on his feet. Now finally brought down at the 37-yard line.
Getting a call that he may have stepped out before that. We're going to take a look at this on replay and see if he did. Here you see the kickoff again. Bring it from the press box level camera. There you see him cut out to his left or to his right, and well, we couldn't quite see it. Pierce back forward. They may have stepped out, but nevertheless, they get the ball spotted at about the 36.5-yard line. 25 seconds left. Anything can happen, Skip, as we've seen tonight.
As you mentioned, that was dangerous to really boost that thing and give Cherry the opportunity to do that.
Very surprised that they kicked it to Willie Cherry.
In low. Straight back. With time, across the middle, it is almost picked off the hands that time of Frank, and Miles had a chance to pick it off.
Boy, he was just, you could see the saliva coming out. He was ready for that ball because he has got the speed to take it back. It would have been about a 47-yard return because there was nobody in front of Carl Miles. As it is, it's an incomplete pass, and it does stop the clock.
So with the lead of 15-7 with 19 ticks, now Leo Britton might decide, hey, let's just go ahead and keep it on the ground. Let's run out the clock and let's go in. We can't afford another turnover here.
Well, I tell you what, if Miles had picked that off and taken it back for a touchdown, that would have been 2 offensive plays, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns for the Hirschi Huskies, and I guarantee you he would have run it the next time.
3 turnovers for the Lions already. Now they run out of time on the play clock. Too much time. and in developing something. Look like they're trying to go for more points before the half ends.
You know, some of the coaches for the Vernon Lions are standing about 2 yards onto the field. They got their arms crossed in front of their chest. They look a bit frustrated with some of the there. You see them on the screen. They look a little bit frustrated with the execution of the team right now. And, you know, Skip, I think that they would be wise to take your advice, put a knee down, and get into the locker room and regroup here, because they've just been stung big time by Andy Ortiz.
Let's see what they do, though. 19 ticks remaining. They drop back to pass. Enlow with time. Sails one across and almost picked off.
Ooh, I tell you what, Sam Walker had it again. And he knows it, too, folks. Take a look at Sam Walker. He's number 17 there. He had all the daylight in the world.
You know what he did? He looked at the end zone before he had the ball.
Sam Walker, you see his hands on the hips. He still can't believe it. And, you know, that was 6 points there again. I tell you what, I'm just stunned that Leo Britton hasn't said, put a knee down and let's get out of here. We do have a Vernon Lion player down on the field. We don't know who that is. Let's take a look at the replay here and watch number 17, Sam Walker. He had this ball dead to rights. There you see it. And he can't believe it as the arms go up in the air. Haven't yet picked up the injured Vernon Lion. Have you, Skip?
Not yet, but it was Chad Durham that Sam Walker ran into. Those two had a battle on who was going to get the INT, and neither one of them coming away with it. I hate to speculate right here, but it looks like Chris Enlow, the quarterback, and that's who it is.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking over there, and number 10, the backup quarterback, Kyle Williams, is talking to Coach Leo Britton. There you see Enlow coming off the field under his own power, and he appears to be okay. It did happen at the end of the half here, so possibly just a little wind knocked out of him or something. But now, certainly in this case, Skip, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm a coach, I say to my backup quarterback, number 10 here, go in there, take a snap, put a knee down, and head for the end zone.
There's the pressure on Enlow. You'll see Wright get in there, and maybe Wright may have, or not Wright, I'm sorry, that was 81, that was Johnson. Maybe Johnson may have stuck him.
It looked like one may have got him high and one may have got him low,
right.
And the knees only bend one way, folks, and he may have just been shaken up a little bit. But here you see Kyle Williams, backup quarterback, just a junior, in taking over for Chris Enlow.
Most important thing here is take the snap. The Huskies have one timeout to work with. They should stop the clock after this snap, depending if they want Williams to throw the ball or not.
I tell you what the delay is here. We've got some of the featured halftime highlights, and they are blocking the 25-second clock for the Vernon Lions. They can't see. The Vernon Lion team, the quarterback, can't see the 25-second clock, so the referee is down moving. They've got huge multicolored pom-poms blocking the clock here. So the referee's down there moving and saying, there you see it right there. Yeah. They're blocking the clock. So they're saying, move out of the way. And, you know, it's kind of academic here, but nevertheless, here we go.
All right, let's see what Kyle Williams does. He drops back for the draw play. And with room to run, that is scary. They make the tackle. They need the TO, and they get it. Timeout with 5 ticks left, and it will be 4th down.
Carl Miles, you know, there's this new thing, Skip, when you get up, you kind of hit a home run. Steve Tannehill, the South Carolina quarterback, we saw do that against Georgia. And Carl Miles put a big stick there on Willie Cherry, and he did the same thing. So 5 seconds left. They will get the ball back.
Did you notice Williams almost fall on that play?
Yeah, exactly. I cannot believe Leo Britton's not putting a knee down. I'm shocked that he's not doing that.
5 ticks remaining, so they will punt it away. Here's the last play to show you one more time, but they will end up punting it away.
They see a draw play, goes to Cherry, and boom, there is Miles coming in with a big stick, and that was a good play by Miles. Open field, he kept his eyes on the runner, didn't watch some of the peripheral things. There you see the cheerleaders. They're ready for a little halftime show.
So on this play here, do you set up for the return, or do you go in for the block with 5 seconds remaining? Because the punt should take 5 seconds. And
well,
get a chance for another play.
You're on the 35-yard line. You got nothing to lose. A 15-yard penalty here is not going to kill you. 5 kicks left. I say you put 10 men on and go for the block. You know, actually, you could even really get away with 11 men on, because even if they come down the field and down it, you know, it doesn't hurt you.
Right.
So you got to go for the block if you're the Hirschi Huskies here.
They're showing everybody.
They're looking like they're ready.
They send everybody. They do.
Ooh,
but
they
flags
had it.
fly.
Now, are they offside? Because I tell you what, the penetration was made there by Sam Walker.
Here's the call.
False start. Offense.
Procedure penalty called. And time ticked off the clock. So let's see if they will put that time back on the clock.
Good point. Their time should not expire off the clock there, but it appears that they're not putting time back on. If an timeout there by Vernon. That is their final timeout. Actually, they got one more left. So you're right, Skip. 2 seconds did come off the clock there, and that's a bit puzzling. But, you know, I think the final 20 seconds of this half have taken about 10 minutes with all the injuries and some of the plays. But
Part coaching.
Sure.
Part of the strategy of the ball game. So you see the timeout situation.
Yeah, and you know, Hirschi has, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball, gotten stronger as this half has gone along. I've seen bigger hits. You haven't seen poor coverage in the secondary. They're not losing their speed. They've just lost a couple of plays here and there. But Hirschi's playing excellent defense. Now here we are lining up again. Who knows what'll happen?
Well, back to the strategy at mine, and that's putting 10 guys on the line and going after that punter.
Sure. You got nothing to lose in this case, you know, and if you run into them, it's the time will run out.
Here's what they're going to do. They're going to just take the snap and possibly hand off and leave Hirschi with no time remaining. Smart thing for Leo Britton now.
Sure. 3
ticks left. They make the pitch, but it's way up in the air. Oh, he tucked that one in. That will do it for the half. No time left.
I tell you,
Did they dodge a bullet on that or what?
Oh, they dodged 3 bullets. Carl Miles nearly had it. Sam Walker nearly had it. Here you'll see the replay. Watch this pitch. Oh, I'll tell you what, that was close and nearly on that pitch.
And in Texas high school football now, you could advance that fumble. Could you imagine that going in for the end of the half? But Leo Britton does the smart thing to end the half. Hey, let's just keep it on the ground and don't give Hirschi a chance to even touch the football to close out the first half.
15-7 is the score. Vernon Lions are ahead. Tell you what, we're going to be back after the halftime. We're going to have all the stats. We'll have highlights, and we will have the Hirschi Husky Band. Halftime is brought to you by Falls Lincoln Mercury. Falls Lincoln Mercury, committed to customer satisfaction.
We are at the half. The score 15-7. We'll have halftime highlights, statistics, and the Hirschi Husky marching band. All that up next on WFTV's Game of the Week.
Your college choice could be the most important decision you'll ever make. During college, you'll probably decide on a career, broaden your intellectual span, and meet new friends. You should consider your college choice carefully. At Vernon Regional Junior College, we're large enough to offer a wide variety of programs, yet small enough to provide support and encouragement. Visit VRJC and see for yourself how we offer the best in quality education. Cross the bridge to a richer future at VRJC.
This portion of Vernon Lions football provided by Sullivan Funeral Home. The Otis Smith family and staff are proud sponsors of the Fighting Vernon Lions.
Back at Memorial Stadium in Wichita Falls, Texas, we are at the half. The Huskies and the Lions. And you see the Lions lead it at halftime. Skip Boyden along with Tim McMillan. And, Tim, what a game we've seen so far in the first half.
Interesting game, a game where both teams found themselves in situations that they didn't expect themselves in. Vernon trying to close out the clock at the end there and having a little difficulty doing that, losing Enlow. And Hirschi finding themselves in a situation where they were stopping Vernon. I'm not sure that they expected to have such success on defense, but they played great on defense. Now they need their offense going.
All right, a little bit later on, we'll talk about what both of these two teams have to do in the second half. Right now, let's go over the first half highlights. And the very first play from scrimmage was problems for the Hirschi Huskies. The 11-yard line, and opening up at quarterback is Jamie Anderson. Now, of course, J.J. Jackson had most of the time a week ago, and Anderson came in the second half. First play of the game on a pitch, student body left, and nowhere to go, and finally trapped in the end zone, and that will be a safety. The very first play from scrimmage, they have trouble.
That's right. 2 points, a safety given up, and then they give the ball back, of course. On a safety, you get the ball back. The Vernon Lions did. They weren't able to convert immediately, but they did shortly thereafter.
Exactly. And when they did, it was a big play. And you're seeing right now as Vernon really put this one in the end zone. Now, Anderson did play a lot of defense a week ago since he's quarterback for the first half. He probably won't see any action in that defensive secondary.
Right. I thought it did.
Second down and about 2 after the 8-yard pickup. The delayed draw. Cherry. Big hole. First down across the 30. One man to beat. He's across the 50. There'll be a foot race. See you later. Touchdown, Vernon. Oh, my.
That's a big...
And you were about to say that's a big play.
That was a big play. You know, it was one move. We saw it several times on the replay. One move, and he was gone. It was a foot race. And Willie Cherry had, but we clocked that at 83 yards up here in the booth.
Now, Cherry, one of the fastest men on the field, and he showed you why he's so quick and fast, and he got in the end zone. Now, as far as that is concerned, they jumped out 9-0, and they really dominated the game from there.
They did dominate the game. You know, Hirschi had a little difficulty moving the football, and so Hirschi had to give it back to him. They were able to score, Vernon was, later on in the game. It's on a slant pass. I believe that went to number 19. That would be Brandon, I believe. It's not a Favors. Brandon Favors. Now, that made the score 15-0, but it was shortly after then that Hirschi was able to strike back.
That's right, but in doing all of that, the Huskies, of course, had a tough time in getting a first down.
We will get to the stats later. We'll show certainly shortly here at halftime their difficulties in moving the football. But there were some key things that happened to Hirschi in that game, and that was their defensive ability to create turnovers. They did create 3 turnovers there, the last of which was the most beneficial, as we'll see.
All right, now we will bring you action now. This was coming as far as the slant pass pattern across the middle of the Favors that you talked about earlier.
That's right. A couple of penalties have really cost them, but let's see what happens here.
Enlow looking for a quick pass across the middle, and it's caught for the touchdown. And right then, you saw Favors might have had a little mismatch on defense, and he was able to just take the ball and go into the end zone with it.
That made the score 14-0 at that point. 15-0. They missed the extra point on a kick that was shanked off to the left, and that created the next play for the Hirschi Huskies.
That's right. Now, in that time period right there, 15-0, you thought right then, well, hey, the Huskies are really hanging low. They can't get anything going. And what we talked about earlier, if the offense can't do it, the defense has to do it. Picks off at the 15 with room to run down the sideline. Will he have enough speed to go the distance? I don't know. To the 20, to 15, to 10, touchdown! Unbelievable! Andy Ortiz. Great running that time and a good job with the touchdown. And now we take a look at those stats that you talked about for the first half.
We talked about the stats as we're frozen on Ortiz's touchdown. You see the score there, Vernon 15 and Hirschi 7. First downs 10-1 in favor of the Vernon Lions. We talked about a little difficulty moving the football. Vernon 131 yards rushing, Hirschi 15. Passing 100 yards for the Vernon Lions, 11 yards for the Hirschi Huskies on 2 of 7, 9 of 18 for the Vernon Lions. Punts, 5 punts for actually a 41.9. Have those numbers flip-flop. 41.9 average for the Hirschi Huskies. 1 punt for 25 yards for the Vernon Lions. 4 penalties for Hirschi for 40 yards. A 1 15-yard penalty, 12 men on the field. Very costly. Allowed Vernon to keep a drive going where they scored their second touchdown. 2 penalties for the Vernon Lions for 5 yards. And we have a stat highlighted here. The 3 turnovers by the Vernon Lions, the final turnover there you saw, which was the touchdown by Andy Ortiz taking the ball in from what was 88 yards. And we have to thank our friends from not only the Vernon paper, but the Times and Record News for helping us out with some of the halftime stats. And I tell you what, you know, the stats are lopsided, but the score is not. And that's what counts. And that's what Tom Chancellor has to tell his team at halftime.
All right.
I'm Joe Garrison, and I've been asked to introduce some people and organizations that need your help in providing needed programs and services for the people of Will Barger County. The first person I'd like you to meet is Robert Pierce, a local fireman and Red Cross first aid instructor, to tell you about the Red Cross and what it's done for the community.
Hello, my name is Robert Pierce. I'm with Vernon Fire Department here, and also Red Cross instructor, child and infant CPR, and first aid. The child and infant CPR is used widely in Vernon. Now daycare workers working with children has to have it, and also more and more jobs in Vernon are requiring for people to have first aid and CPR, which the Red Cross is happy to provide for them. And if you're wanting to be an instructor, just let us know and we'll be glad to teach you. Also in our things, what we try to do, besides teaching you CPR and first aid, we try to teach you how to do it safely. Be careful, watch out for yourself, protect yourself without hurting yourself any further, and also without hurting the person that you are trying to help. Red Cross has been around here a lot. The money that you give the United Fund is what keeps the Red Cross going. Last year in June, when we had the tornadoes, the Red Cross helped a lot of families around here. There were some houses that had to be redone. People didn't have the money to do it or insurance, and the Red Cross helped them. So it is you that we're looking for to help us.
Another agency of the United Way is the Will Barger Meals on Wheels program. I would like you to meet Becky Johnson, the executive director of the Meals on Wheels program, and two of the volunteer drivers, Carol Taylor and Clara Klein, to tell you how the program helps your community.
I'm Becky Johnson, the executive director of the Vernon Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels was started in 1977. Currently, we serve 65 people a day. We serve a hot noon meal 5 days a week. The Vernon Meals on Wheels is funded partially by United Way and partially by the state of Texas. The meals are delivered every day by volunteers who volunteer their time and their automobiles and gasoline to deliver the meals to the client.
Okay. My name is Carol Taylor, and I'm a volunteer driver for Meals on Wheels. One reason I volunteer to drive is because I get to meet some of the most wonderful people. One lady who's really special, who makes me feel worthwhile, is a lady whose hands are paralyzed, and she uses her feet to do everything around the house. Well, naturally, she can't cook. So we bring her a meal every day, and she's really appreciative. That makes me feel special, and it gives me a good feeling about doing Meals on Wheels.
My name is Clara Klein, and I'm a volunteer driver for Meals on Wheels. I believe in the program. It's very worthwhile. It's one of the few volunteer services that I know of that you immediately see the results from donating your time. I can think of one lady who is at home by herself, and I feel she's very comfortable in her home, and sometimes I feel that we are the only people she sees once a day. So in a way, you're delivering a service to them, a service that they need, a hot meal, and it may be their only hot meal. Plus, you're also checking on their well-being, just going in, saying hi, and that's basically all it is. But it's a comfort to them to know that they're getting a meal and that someone is coming once a day during the week to see them.
The final person that I'd like you to meet is Joe Bob Ritchie for the Will Barger County Child Welfare. And let him tell you a little of what this program provides for the less fortunate children of Will Barger County and why your support is so important to the United Way.
I'm Joe Bob Ritchie. I'm secretary of the Will Barger County Child Welfare Board. When I became a member of the Child Welfare Board, I really didn't know what it was for. I thought it had to be some kind of government-funded welfare program just because the word welfare was in the title. It wasn't until I really became a member and went to that first meeting that I realized that we are solely supported by donations. At that first meeting, it was really bad. I couldn't believe what little funding we had in how much we had to do. Our major responsibility is providing support to the foster children and the foster parents in this area. That first meeting, we had to supply school clothes and school supplies to over 20 children, and at the very best, our budget was very minimal. We did the best we could do, but that wasn't very good, and I started realizing that we're expecting these children to do with less just because they're foster children. If it wasn't for United Way, they would have to do with less. Since we're a United Way organization, we've been able to do so many more things with the children. We're able to supply them with more clothes, with more funding. We've started newer programs where we're able to supply driver's education funds. We've bought senior rings for some of the kids that are graduating with the understanding that as they can, they'll pay us back. And in every instance, we have been paid back. And that not only gives them a sense of responsibility, but also creates a wonderful sense of self-esteem that they've been able to do something. If it wasn't for United Way, there's no way we could help these kids the way we do. We can't change what they've been through. We can't change the horror they've had to live through, but we can let them know that someone cares for them, someone loves them, and that we're able to give them some kind of self-respect and to give them the equal chance that our children have.
I wish to thank you for taking time to watch this presentation and to meet some of the volunteers and programs your United Way gift supports through the year to make your community a much better place to live. Finally, in closing, I would like to introduce the co-chairpersons for the 1993 Will Barger United Way, Richard Smith and Don Burton.
I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Don Burton.
We're the 1993 United Way campaign co-chairmen.
We'd like to thank you for taking time to view our United Way campaign video. And as you consider the amount of your pledge, there are just a few other points that we'd like for you to think about.
As you look at the statistics, better than 1 out of 2 residents of Vernon participate in one of the 13 United Way agencies, either through direct involvement, as a volunteer, or as a recipient of the services of that agency. As you look around, chances are very good that you know many of the people who are served by these agencies. You might also ask yourself, does all the money stay here in Vernon?
Over 95% of the funds which remain right here in Vernon, Texas, in our community. And because of a strong volunteer support group, we are able to take those funds that you're going to be giving and cause those funds to serve a greater number of people in many different ways.
In closing, we'd like to encourage you to make that strong commitment to the United Way campaign, both in your contribution, and we'd like to encourage you to consider being a volunteer for one of the 13 United Way agencies.
And in turn, we commit ourselves to use the funds that you're going to be giving to care for those that you care for.
second half action here from Memorial Stadium. The Hirschi Huskies taking on the Vernon Lions, and if you'll recall back at the start of the game, our score there, of course, 15-7, and thanks again to Falls Lincoln Mercury for helping bring halftime to you, the halftime stats and all the festivities, including the Hirschi Husky Band.
Now, what do the Huskies have to do to, I can't say get back in the game, they are back in the game. What do they have to do to take control?
Well, what they need to do really is begin to move the ball on offense, and I think the way to do that is with some quick execution. They had some success early in the ball game in quick hitting plays. The key is they must not take a lot of time to develop plays because Vernon is getting penetration. Vernon is a larger team. Hirschi has more speed. They must take advantage of that speed and use quick hitting plays, perhaps some slant plays over the middle, perhaps Carl Miles on a couple of sweeps with a pulling guard or a pulling tackle. Fit someone out in front of him with a little bit of beef, and it looks like, yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe J.J. Jackson will be coming in at quarterback. We don't know just yet, but he was warming up at the end of the first half.
Now you're on the other side of the field. You're head coach Leo Britton, and what do you have to do to keep control of the ball game?
No turnovers, execution. We saw that towards the final 5-6 minutes of the first half. His team executed poorly, very poorly. Chris Enlow did come out for the second half. He was the captain. I assume that he will be on the field as quarterback, and we'll see. But it is execution for Leo Britton.
Deep kick. This one taken at the 5-yard line. They're trying to go up the middle with it. And brought down at the 25-yard line, and he doesn't think he's down. He says his knee never touched. And speaking of that time,
that was Michael Lee on the return, number 14. He took his helmet off. Here you see him, and he's not sure he was down. A little stat there on Willie Cherry. 13 rushing attempts in the first half, 114 yards, and 83 of those yards came on one play. So you take away those 83 yards, and that is 31 yards on 12 attempts for Willie Cherry. Except for that one there, you'll see the replay. Now, was his knee down? No, he was not down.
He has a good argument there.
He was not
never
down.
touched.
Good replay. Excellent camera work down there, folks. Excellent camera work.
All righty, 1st and 10. Enlow with pressure being put on. He avoids that, and with room to run down the sideline, and will squeeze out a yard on the play.
Andy Ortiz on the big stick to knock him out of bounds, but good penetration there by number 81. That was Brandon Johnson, I believe, in the backfield, putting the pressure on Enlow and flushing him out of the pocket. Enlow staying on the far sideline.
He's just getting the play over there.
Okay.
Saving somebody from running in with it.
Taking a little bit of time over there. He's on his side of the field. Let's go talk to the coach and see what he's got to say. There are 17 ticks left on the 25-second clock.
Now, Enlow got outside the Huskies just a couple of times before in the first quarter, and then the second quarter they started to contain him.
Right, he's a scrambler. We talked about it in the pregame, and he can scramble. There you see a pass over the middle. It's tipped, and it is picked off.
On the
James McKinney on the interception.
And a flag on the play off the run back. The flag wasn't until the run back. So it will be the Huskies football, but they will be penalized on the run back, and we will get the call, but the Huskies will have the football.
After this call, looks like blocking below the waist. We'll see it here. Here's the replay. There you see the interception, and there was the block below the waist. But I'll tell you what, let's throw a little stat in here. In the previous games for the Vernon Lions, Chris Enlow had 2 interceptions coming into tonight's ball game. He now
blocking
has
below the
2
waist.
interceptions.
Return team, 1st and 10.
In tonight's ball game. So, and he really should have more. He really should have 3 interceptions because Sam Walker had the ball in his hand, just took his eyes off the ball a little bit. But nevertheless, 2 interceptions tonight. That equals his entire list or entire number for the season.
Here's the replay one more time, right quick before the Huskies come back up to the line. There's the deflection and the interception. Good hands by Miles, and then they had the block below the waist. We're back to live action now. On the pitch, Miles to the near side. Needs to get loose. He's across the 50. Spin move to the 45-yard line, and a first down for the Huskies. Only their second first down of the night.
What a spin, and I tell you what, Carl Miles showed the speed there. He got to the outside, used the hole. You're going to see a great field level camera coming right at you here, folks, and watch Watch this move. Right there, he got hit on the knee, and lucky he didn't plant a foot on the turf there and twist an ankle. It's a first down for the Huskies, and they are on the move.
And you talked about being head coach Leo Britton on the far side. You talked about not having a turnover. Their 4th turnover of the night. Let's see if the Huskies can turn those in to 7 points on the board. Delayed draw. Nothing going on that play. Right back to the line of scrimmage.
Carl Egan's on the handoff, and J.J. Jackson is in as the quarterback for the Hirschi Huskies. So Jamie Anderson led him through the first half. He got them to 7 points. The score came on the defensive end of the football, but nevertheless, he did guide them. Now Anderson goes in. Anderson is in as a receiver on this play. Jackson lines up as a quarterback. Anderson is wide left near us. Near on the camera side.
2nd and 10 from the 45. Straight back, pressure up the middle. Dumps it off on the sideline. Anderson comes up with the catch and brought down at the 41.
Big time play there by J.J. Jackson. He saw the pressure and the heat coming from his right side. Got the ball off just in time, and an equally good catch by Jamie Anderson and some tough yardage there.
As the two complement each other right here.
Right there at you, number 29 and 34. 29, Tommy Gonzalez, and Chad Thomas, number 34, for the Vernon Lions, in on the stop.
Shy of the first. Crucial 3rd down. They need this one to keep this drive going. 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. They trail 15-7. 3rd and 3. Miles on the handoff. First down to the 30-yard line.
Big time run there for Kyle Miles, and he gets up, pumping his hands. He is excited, folks, and that is a big pickup on 3rd down. That's their 2nd first down of the half. And they only had 1 in the entire first half.
Clayton Henry, the big tight end, and also doubles on the defensive side as the defensive end in on the tackle on that play. But not before Miles picks up another first down, as you mentioned. They put it down at the 30. The furthest the offense has been in 2 weeks. Miles inside the 25. They'll put it down right at the 25.
And I tell you what they're doing, Skip, here. They're going with exactly what we mentioned they need to go to. Quick hitting plays. Plays that do not take a long time to develop. You saw the short pass to Anderson. You didn't see a draw play to Miles. You saw the off tackle or the up the middle play to him where he gets a quick hit. He doesn't take time to develop, and that's what they need to move this football.
Sapp at the top. 2 wide out to the bottom. Single setback. Miles gets the ball. Good head running that time up to the 20-yard line. Close to the first down. He'll be about a half a yard shy. We'll set up a 3rd and less than a yard for the first down.
That was 2 big-time players meeting up there in the middle. Detrick Morris, the nose guard for the Vernon Lions, the leader of their defense, and Carl Miles, the leading running back for the Hirschi Huskies, meeting in the center of the field there. Miles probably getting the better of him on that play. It's a very short 3rd down and less than 1.
Another crucial 3rd down call. In motion goes Johnson. They give it to Miles. Big hole. First down inside the 15-yard line. They're spotted at the 13-yard line, and the Husky drive continues here for the second half.
And the Hirschi Husky offensive line is doing something in the second half that they didn't do in the first half, and that is opening holes. And they're doing that by doing some trap blocking. They're blocking off to the angles. They're creating small holes, not big holes, not trying to push them forward. They're pushing them aside, and that's creating the holes, and Miles is getting through.
Inside the red zone now. Got to come away with some points on this drive now. On the handoff, Miles had room to run on the outside, but he says, hey, I'm going to go and knock some people over. The hole says 20, the play was, I guess, 25 or whatever. He had room to go to the outside. He just put his head down and said, hey, I'm going to get some yardage.
He followed some big people behind. I tell you, the fans over here are on their feet. They're making some noise. You're going to see it on the replay here. Watch him follow the left side of the offensive line. 3 big bodies there, and there he goes.
But see all that room on the outside?
Oh, I know it. If he could have popped it outside, he could have run a long way. 2nd down and 6 yards to go.
Inside the 10, they have it at the 9. On the handoff, this is Eggins. And Eggins will not get back to the line of scrimmage. He will lose a yard on the play. It will be 3rd. And they'll put it down at the 10-yard line. So 3rd and about 6.
Crucial third down play, but you know what? You know what's even more crucial than this third down play is that they come out of this possession with points. No turnovers. You know, they need to keep the football in the middle of the field and at least get 3 points out of this. Better to get a touchdown.
All right. Miles back in for Higgins, and some of the fans are on their feet anticipating a Husky score. On the option, they pitch it out. Its ball is fumbled and picked up by Jamie Anderson. Anderson at the right place at the right time, able to come away with the football.
You're not kidding. There's about 500 hearts pounding very quickly on my side of the field because what they saw there was a potential turnover that took away any points. There is a Vernon Lion player down on the field, and he has not moved at all. There his legs moved slightly. Perhaps the wind's knocked out of him. But Jamie Anderson did a great job of gathering that football in and keeping the possession in favor of the Hirschi Huskies. They ended up losing approximately a half a yard on that play, so it'll be spotted at the 11-yard line. That's Willie Cherry, who was down on the ground, and then I tell you what, you switch sides of the field, and there's 500 hearts on the other side of the field beating pretty quickly now, too, that he got up off the ground.
Fourth down call, and they will go for the field goal. Stewart will attempt the field goal. They'll put it down at the 18-yard line, so it will be a 28-yard field goal attempt. Don't forget, though, Jamie Anderson is holding, so anything can still happen.
And I tell you, I really like having a quarterback hold, whether it be a starter or a backup. You see sometimes high school, college, or even pro teams don't have quarterbacks spotting the football down. I think that is absolutely essential. Good move by Coach Tom Chancellor.
Good snap. Stewart's kick is long enough, and it's good. And the Huskies are on the board offensively for the first time in 2 weeks. They are on the board offensively, and they now trail by a score of 15-10. And talking about the drive, it's the furthest drive and moving the football inside the red zone the first time in 2 weeks, and they've got to be thankful for doing that, and that should pump them up here.
And important, that is a drive. They took possession of the ball, and through execution and through plays on the field, either one big play or a defensive return of an interception or a fumble, they moved the ball down and got points offensively. As you said, their first points in 6 quarters now since they've scored a point, at least 6 quarters offensively.
Right.
So they're down only by 5 points, and a touchdown. They're up by 2. If they get the extra point, if they go, they'll likely go for 2 if they do score a touchdown. So who knows what will happen. But at any rate, excellent play and good running there by Carl Miles. You know, certainly I think Tom Chancellor wanted to feature Carl Miles on that series of downs. He did. Let's give some credit to J.J. Jackson for coming out of the halftime and moving his team first possession down the field. And let's give some credit, too, to the defense of the Hirschi Huskies for creating the turnover.
And don't forget about those guys on that offensive line that had some big holes open up. Right. Get those guys to blocking pretty good at the mid part of the season, and that's what gets you into the playoffs.
You bet. They start every play up front.
Stewart on the boot. This one will be taken at the 6-yard line. On the return is Lee. Lee gets up to the 25-yard line before being stuck hard.
That is Andy Ortiz and Shad Durham there on the stop for the Hirschi Huskies. And you notice what they did on that when they kicked away from Willie Cherry. You know, we were surprised after they scored the touchdown on the kickoff that they didn't squib it, that they kicked it to Willie Cherry, and he nearly burned him. If I'm not mistaken, he brought it back from the end zone about to the 40-yard line. So they kicked it away. They kicked it to Michael Lee, and he brings it out to the 26.
In the backfield now is not Cherry. Remember, Cherry was shaken up a little bit. Billy Gaines is in the offensive backfield, and Gaines gets the call to the outside. Gaines nowhere to go. Good defensive play that time. James McKinney coming away with the defensive tackle.
McKinney's been everywhere. He's got an interception tonight, and that was an outstanding play by James McKinney, staying home when the linebacker sniffed it out, just a junior, sniffed it out and got a hold of Gaines, stopped him for a very short pickup.
As we talked about all night long, that Husky defense has been playing tough, and that's one reason they're still in this ball game. They trail by 5 with 5:43 and clock ticking here in the third quarter. 15-10 our score. 2nd and 9. Enlow on the play action, looking to throw out to the big tight end, and does. Has it completed. That is Coker. Sherman Coker has the completion. And a couple of those were dropped. So I'm sure Coach Leo Britton said, hey, you guys get open, you catch that thing this time, and he did. Not enough for a first down, though, as we look at it again.
You look at it on replay. Here you see a rollout to the right, throws to the tight end Coker. He brings the ball in before he turns upfield, and a big stick by Miles, and Carl Miles is pumped up. Big-time third down play here. 3rd down and 2, clock ticking with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter of this ball game. And Hirschi, if they could stop him here, boy, this would be a big boost.
3 wide outs at the top, as we mentioned. Gaines in the backfield for Cherry. Gaines the call, defensive play. Husky defense, 44 leading the way this time again. James McKinney.
I tell you what, early in the third quarter, but it's actually a little advanced in the third quarter, but nevertheless early to call him the defensive player of the game. But if I were to vote now, he gets my vote. James McKinney has been everywhere. Again, just a junior, but he has had a great game tonight and really has stayed home and keyed since the first run, that 83-yard run by Cherry. McKinney has not let them bust loose from the backfield.
Sapp and Cherry are back deep, awaiting the punt. No big pressure being put on. High punt, and they call for the fair catch, and they will watch this bounce inside the 25-yard line and continue to roll inside the 20. The Huskies will have the football at the 16-yard line. Deep field position, but they will have the ball, and they keep Vernon from getting back on the scoreboard.
Not a 50-yard punt there. That was, well, I'd say into the wind, but the flag is hanging dead limp now. So the wind not really a factor, and I tell you what, based on the bugs that I see flying around the lights here, it's definitely not a factor, because if it was blowing, they wouldn't be here. So take the wind out of the game tonight from now on. Hirschi, what did happen? There you see a little bug flying away, and I told you they were here. Hirschi, good camera work there. I tell you what. Hirschi has the ball first down on their own 16-yard line, 84 yards away from pay dirt. Time to move the football. J.J. Jackson back at quarterback. A quick hit again to Anderson. He steps out of bounds. Good play. And remember what I said. They need to do quick hitting, quick developing plays and not give the Vernon defense a chance to get in the backfield. That's exactly what they're doing.
Now, you see the difference with J.J. Jackson in there. He sets up. He's got a quicker delivery than Jamie Anderson, and he can go ahead and snap that thing. And Anderson's doing a fine job getting open.
And there you see the offensive line that's been doing such a great job for the Hirschi Huskies. You know, they've been keeping a good protection up front, keeping the pressure off of the quarterback for the Hirschi Huskies, whoever may be back there.
Jackson on the pitch. Here comes Miles to the near side with room to run. Down the sideline, across the 40, and bumped out in Lion territory at the 47-yard line.
47-yard line, and I tell you what, Carl Miles was pumped, and that right there is going to be a 30-yard pickup by Carl Miles. A great run, and I tell you, you saw the blocking. There you see it going right by you, and Miles, there you see him celebrating. Here you see the replay from the press box level camera, and watch the blocking, and there he goes, busting through. Finally stopped there by Kyle Williams of the Vernon Lions. Big pickup.
Big gain at the 47-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Huskies. 3:45 remaining here in the third quarter. They trail by 5. Eggins gets the call with room across the 40-yard line. He tiptoed across the 45, and he said, hey, there's nobody there. I can run some more. And he does. Brought down at the 39. Good 7-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 3.
Chad Thomas was ball hawking there for the Vernon Lions. He had his hand on the football as Carl Eggins was running, but unable to strip it. So big pickup there. Eggins' first positive, real positive pickup of the night. He's been in there a little bit, but that's good yardage, about 6.5 yards.
J.J. Jackson really hasn't had to throw the football. Not forced to on the 2nd down. He does anyway. Pops it out and losing his footing, but he will have enough for the first down. That is Sam Walker, 17. Walker makes the catch, and he had the first down.
I think he was excited as you were because his feet just came out from under him. And you saw him get up. He's a little frustrated. But you know what the Hirschi Huskies are doing right now? And they're doing something that Vernon's not, and that is they're executing the basics. They're doing short plays. They're throwing the football. They're catching the football, and they're running with the football. And so far, Vernon hasn't been doing that ever since about the 2-minute mark of the first half.
You know, they're going to lull the Lions to sleep a little bit with all this short stuff and then go upstairs with one.
That's right. Or a draw play or something that's a little misdirection. Exactly.
Good opportunity right here, maybe on a first down call to go upstairs and deep. Let's see what they do, though. The drive continues after the first down pickup. On a pitch, near side, Miles. And Miles across the 30, and the fans are wanting a little late hit on that one, but they will not get it. But it's still a nice, decent run from Miles to the 30-yard line.
You know, Vernon was creeping up to that side. The play was coming to the strong side of the field, and they were creeping up, as you'll see here. But good blocking, good pulling guard. There you see number 60, good block out on the outside on number 84, and Miles makes a good play. Number 60 there pulling, I believe it was 60, but I don't have a 60 on my Hirschi roster. That could have been Jason Quintero, number 50.
Good 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5 for the Huskies from the 30. On a handoff.
Jason Quintero was the blocker on that last play. There you saw that play there, trying to go straight up the middle, and not a lot of yardage, but they did pick up about 1.5 yards. That's going to bring up a key third down play. Scoreboard has it listed as 3rd down and 2 right now. I think it's a little longer than that, probably more like 3rd down and long 2.5, maybe more a little closer to 3 yards. Clock is ticking with 1:35 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Hirschi is driving.
They want to come away with 6 on this one, not 3. But, hey, points would help. Anything on the scoreboard would help. Remember, this drive started at their own 18. Big hole, Miles to the 15, and a touchdown saving tackle inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. First down, Hirschi.
Kyle Williams saved a tackle there on Carl Miles, and Carl Miles is putting it together, folks. He's running over, he's running through, he's running around. He is doing everything he needs to get this, but he's not doing it without the help of that offensive line. They are blowing Vernon straight off the line of scrimmage.
You remember Miles came into the ball game with
quickly up top replay.
Okay, 47 carries, 217 yards, and this is why. All right, back to live action. Trap, nothing going there. Vernon sniffed that one out. That will be a loss back to the 15-yard line, and while they assess that, let's talk about what happened in Class 3A as we take a look at the 3A games from a week ago. Of course, South Lake Carroll defeated Springtown 31-7, and they still remain the #1 team in Class 3A. Meanwhile, with Vernon's loss, they were #2. They drop all the way down to 5.
They dropped to 5, and not surprising, but Tampa is a quality 4A school, so they shouldn't hang their heads. It wasn't a real bad loss.
Of course, everybody's still in anticipation for that Vernon-South Lake Carroll rematch. On the pitch, Miles, nowhere to go that time, and they lose another yard, so it will be 3rd down and about 13.
A little bit surprised on that play call. They came to the short side of the field and didn't have a lot of room to go. Big number. You'll see the pitch here. That was good penetration, clearly just good penetration by the Vernon defense. Number 72, Andre Wilson, a big 240-pound defensive tackle.
That will do it for the 3rd quarter, and the 3rd quarter was all Hirschi Huskies as they trail by 5, and they are trying to put some more points on the scoreboard. The 4th and final quarter is next. Thanks for watching the Game of the Week on WSTV Wichita Falls. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter. Stay with us.
Your college choice could be the most important decision you'll ever make. During college, you'll probably decide on a career, broaden your intellectual span, and meet new friends. You should consider your college choice carefully. At Vernon Regional Junior College, we're large enough to offer a wide variety of programs, yet small enough to provide support and encouragement. Visit VRJC and see for yourself how we offer the best in quality education. Cross the bridge to a richer future at VRJC.
This portion of Vernon Lions football provided by Calvin Funeral Home. The Otis Smith family and staff are proud sponsors of the Fighting Vernon Lions.
and final period as the Huskies have it 3rd and 13 to open up quarter number 4. With time, and he overthrows and picks off in the end zone and brought back to the 11-yard line. On the interception, and he's been around all night, is Williams. Kyle Williams comes up with the INT.
Well, first turnover of the night for the Hirschi Huskies, and it really couldn't have happened at a worse time. They were driving the football, and here you'll see it on replay. He was wide open. There, see, that was Jamie Anderson, and just overthrew him a little bit, and the pickoff there by Williams, and really stopped a beautiful drive by the Hirschi Huskies.
And Williams was playing like deep safety that time, so there was no way that he had anything to do with the play. Just the ball came right to him.
Exactly. You know, the ball may have slipped out of J.J.'s hands. It happens to do that sometimes. It'll sail, but nevertheless, it is 1st and 10 for the Vernon Lions. Chris Enlow brings his team up.
Offensive movement that time on the line, and that will cost the Lions. That will be a 5-yard penalty against the Lions. But as you mentioned, won't take the Huskies out of the ball game. The defense has kept them this close, so now I know they won't harp on the INT with 11:52 left to play in the ball game.
No, they won't. And, you know, if there's one thing that Coach Tom Chancellor and the other Huskies have to... That was quick. Well, just looking at here. One thing they have to be happy with is the fact that the defense is on the field. The defense has played very, very well tonight. So if they can just continue their excellent play, they will get the ball back, and they'll get it back in good field position.
As you mentioned, their first turnover of the ball game compared to Vernon with 4 tonight. After the 5-yard penalty, it will be 1st and 15. Enlow, with room to run, now sets up to throw the football and throws it away. Enlow doing a fine job in throwing the football away. That was good one-on-one coverage that time, so he knew that he wasn't open. And that is like the 3rd time that he's just, hey, nobody's open, I'll throw it away.
Number 44, James McKinney, was bearing down on him. You'll see the replay here, and McKinney did everything that had his arms around him. So as we pull away from the speaker there, you'll see McKinney closing fast. And seeing that, Chris Enlow cut fly with the pass, and it was really intended to throw it away. He didn't intend to complete that, I don't think, because it was overthrown by about 10 yards. Nevertheless, brings up 2nd down and 15, and the defense continues its good play, good penetration.
You see Leo Britton now taking a lot of time. They want to take off a lot of time on that clock. There's 4 seconds, 3 seconds on the play clock, and they get it off with 1 second left. Enlow in the end zone to throw. This time has a man, and it's incomplete.
That ball was underthrown again under intense pressure.
He was trying to throw to Favors. Favors had one-on-one coverage and was bumped and pushed. So Favors is looking for a call that he wouldn't get because the ball was underthrown.
It was underthrown. It was an uncatchable ball. You see an isolation there on Enlow, and Enlow is being hit on nearly every play, and he's walking around pretty gingerly. So, that's a situation that may bear some observation, particularly if they get to him again. 3rd down and 15.
Now, they've shaken up Enlow earlier, and they also shaken up Cherry as well.
And he's yet, I believe, to return to the ball game.
No, he hasn't. Billy Gaines is still in there as the single setback. 3rd and 15. Gaines gets the call. Big hole for Gaines across the 10-yard line and tripped up before he gets to the 15.
This is going to be a crucial spot. He's very close to the 1st down. He's very close. Let's see if they give him the signal. 4th down. And they do. They give the signal. It is 4th down. Very close.
Oh, no. He needed to get to the 23-yard line.
I'm looking at the back marker. You're exactly right. Like number 30. Either number 30, Andy Ortiz, or 20, Billy Quintero. Billy Quintero, number 20, there on the stop.
So having to punt the football away is Enlow. Enlow will stand right at the goal line. No pressure put on, and Enlow, with no help from the wind, will boot it to the 50. Here comes the return down the sideline to the 30-yard line and bumped down at the 20. Sam Walker with the return.
I tell you what, that was Sam Walker at 150 pounds taking on Chad Thomas, listed at 180 pounds, and he lowered his shoulder and took him out, folks. You're going to see it on replay here. A low line drive, returnable kick. Walker makes a nice catch there about the 49-yard line, and watch the end of this. Boom! He lowers the boom, and I tell you what, he got the best of Chad Thomas.
30 yards on the return. You talked about a good catch. I don't know. He almost bobbled that
Well,
thing.
I was wondering if he should catch it, period. It was kind of an end-over-end wobbly kick. He wasn't exactly under it, but he did make the catch. He brought it back, and he had a line. You know, if he had an opportunity to cut it in, he may have gone further. But even as it was, what a hit. I tell you, Sam Walker has just laid it out on the line tonight. Give him credit for the Bruiser Award of the game.
It appears to be a player shaken up. The Vernon players are over on the Hirschi sideline, and if we can get you a shot,
we'll get a field camera down there.
Shaken up over there.
He may have actually gone into the wall there. That wall is concrete.
Right. We saw that happen a week ago, where when J.J. Jackson flipped over and went into the wall. There's the big man, number 71. That is Dunston. Chris Dunston, 230-pound defensive tackle, was shaken up on the sideline. Let's see if we can possibly see something here. Did you see something?
I did see it. I don't know if we got time to replay it again. He was hit. He was actually hit as he was out of the play. Walker was well beyond him, 4 or 5 yards. He was trying to slow down. You'll see it here. Watch as Walker gets behind right here.
Oh, okay. There
you see as he got hit.
Left of the screen there.
Exactly, and he was actually tagged. Don't know who did that, but my money's on Walker. Maybe he split in half and hit him. He's hitting so hard in the rest of the game.
First down at the 20-yard line for the Huskies. They trail 15-10 with 10:41 to play in the ball game. In at quarterback is J.J. Jackson. Single setback is Miles. Miles up the middle inside the 10-yard line. And a first down. They should put it down at the 9 where it will be first and goal for the Huskies.
First and goal for the Huskies. Miles picking up where he left off. Now the drive stalled last time right about in this area of the field. So we'll see if they can keep it going. A touchdown-saving tackle there by number 83, Clayton Henry. He's been in on a lot of defensive plays tonight. First and goal, 9-yard line, 10:25 to go in the game.
Single setback this time it's Eggins. Eggins inside the 5 and brought down from there.
5-yard line. They may be shuffling tailbacks to bring in the plays. We'll see if Eggins stays in. He is not. Miles will come in and bring in the play along with James McKinney.
Chad Thomas in on the defensive tackle that time for the Lions. And we are at the 10-minute mark now. And the fans again trying to get up on their feet, anticipating another Husky touchdown. Single setback is Miles. Long count. And flags on the play.
We'll see who lined up where. It's against Hirschi.
Motion penalty called against the Huskies. And just when they had the fans standing up, getting ready to root them on, 5-yard penalty cost them. Here's the call.
Encroachment, offense, 5-yard penalty.
So you talk about the penalties. They had 40 yards worth of penalties in the first half at crucial time, right? This could also be another one.
Well, it is. It would have been more crucial had it happened on, say, 3rd down, but it is on 2nd down. They have at least 2 more pops to the end zone. Let's see what happens. Miles is in the backfield. Looks like Terry, Anderson, and Lewis split out.
Second and goal at the 9. Looking to throw. End zone. It picked off at the goal line, and that will be a touchback.
Back-breaking. And just back-breaking.
And only as a viewer for me up top watching it, because it's a lot easier for me calling the ball game up here, but I question the pass. I thought they were doing so well on the ground.
I'll tell you what, if Vernon gets away from this game with a win tonight, they better drive real quickly home, because they really at this point deserve a loss. And Hirschi deserves the win. I'll tell you what, because Hirschi's defense has hung tough, and their offense has moved it. They just have been snake-bitten inside the red zone, as you called it.
He was trying to get the ball to Ray Lewis, and Lewis was covered up back there. That was a hard pass.
It was a tough pass. He threw into 3 or 4 different cover defenders, so a tough.
Here comes Gaines. Gaines across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. And
talk about that 5-yard penalty, and maybe Coach Chancellor thought, well, with that 5-yard penalty, that forces us to throw the football.
A little more room to work. You know, you're not pinned right up there against the back of the end zone. But even so, you got to wonder about a pass over the middle in a situation like that where you're packed inside. And I know it's easy for us to second guess, but still, Miles was moving the football. Might have been a nice time to put a draw play on.
Option play, and they cover up Enlow that time. Enlow trying to get to the first down.
He won't get it. It'll be third down.
8:26, and it has been the defense to keep them in the ball game so far. Speaking of the Huskies,
third down and 1. Probably the biggest third down to this point for the Hirschi Husky defense. Let's see what they come up with here. Coach Leo Britton's going to put 3 wide receivers out to the left. Billy Gaines in the backfield. A blitz coming from Hirschi. It's a busted play.
And he's close to the first down, though. He's across the 30 to the 31. And he needed to get to the 31 for the first down, and they say he does have the first down.
He did pick up the first down, but not without a good effort to stop him there by number 77, Rick Meacham. He had a nice attempt on that play to stop it from picking up the first down, but Emma was just able to slip through. Little tough to defend that. It was a one-on-one situation, and you got to cover not only against the scramble, but you also got to blitz, and it's tough to decide what to do in that case.
First down, drive stays alive. This is Gaines. Gaines brought down in the offensive secondary.
Chad Durham, big-time penetration, big-time stick. A loss of at least 3 yards, probably closer to 4 yards. Clock is moving, and that, of course, plays into Vernon's favor as they are up 15-10. You've seen the Hirschi Husky defense able to stop them. Vernon, I tell you what, has not moved the ball at all, really, since the second touchdown.
And it could be because Willie Cherry is out. He's over on the sideline. We'll get a shot of him here in a minute. He's taken off his pad, so he won't see any more action tonight. Pass completed to the big tight end. Not enough for a first down. They're way shy of the first down. In on the reception that time, though, was Clayton Henry. Henry makes the reception. It will be third down.
Miles and Ortiz put the stick on Henry and drive him down into the ground. Actually lost yardage on the play. It'll be third down and 9. The ball's going to be spotted at about the 32-yard line. Clock is moving. They said he did not get out of bounds, but the knee went down inbound, so the clock continues to move. It is the fourth quarter, and Hirschi is down by 5 points. Hirschi's had their opportunities. They've had a couple of interceptions that they should have had that could have been returned for touchdowns that weren't. They've been in the red zone twice, only to come away with 2 turnovers. Let's see what happens here on third down. Timeout taken by Vernon.
Confusion. They want a chance to talk about it. They don't want to make a crucial third down mistake here.
We're going to go ahead and give some credit to our sponsors. We really can't bring this game to you without the hard work of our crew and without the dedication of our sponsors. So let's list them off here real quickly. Apple Chiropractic, Dental Work, Falls Lincoln Mercury, Humphrey Printing, Parkway Grill, Ramada Hotel, Union Square Federal Credit Union, and Wichita Furniture.
We'd like to thank all of our fine sponsors for the 93 football season. And speaking of the 93 football season, there you get a shot of Cherry. Now, I mentioned he is out for the ball game.
That's right.
He will not see any more action. And that is one reason why the offense is sputtering for the Vernon Lions.
The bag of ice appears to be on the back of the neck. He may have a pinched nerve somewhere in the back of the neck or maybe towards the shoulder blade. Nice work there on the field to spot Cherry and to inform the viewers, of course, as to why perhaps Vernon has had a little difficulty moving the football.
A reminder coming up for you next week's action. The Hirschi Huskies are back in action as they take on Boswell. We will follow that up with the Wichita Falls game against Burke Burnett. The doubleheader for you next week on WFTV, the Huskies and the Coyotes. Go out and support your favorite team, and if you can't make the action, we will have the action for you right here on WFTV. 6:11 to play in the ball game. Third down call. Enlow with time and a receiver, and he's got him.
And, oh, he dropped the football. That is about the third time tonight that number 84, Sherman Coker, has tried to run without the football. Oh, my. You're going to see it on replay here, and this ball is floated nicely by Enlow. Nice touch. And as you see,
oh, good defense. And Miles might have knocked that thing out of there.
Miles could have got a hand up in there and knocked it out. As it is, it looks like he might. I tell you, it could have been a little of both, but good defense by Carl Miles. Miles has had an inspired second half.
And I'm telling you, the fans that are here should be on their feet right now applauding that Hirschi defense.
Absolutely.
They have played a tough ball game here tonight.
Absolutely. Hirschi defense, A+ tonight. A+.
6:04 remaining. The punt will take a Husky bounce and continue to bounce across the 50. It hit at about the 40, and then it bounced 20 yards the other way before finally being ruled dead at the 45.
Yep, that's about a 13-yard punt
after the bounce, right?
I think it was about 30, and it came back about 17. So I believe you have a 13-yard net punt. But I tell you what it does, it gives Hirschi the ball, 1st and 10 on the Vernon 45-yard line, down by 5 points.
Now this could be their last opportunity as we take a look at the 4A top 10. Of course, the team I'm looking at is Highland Park. They are going to be tough this year. Stephenville also off to a 4-0 start. A&M Consolidated, who's always close to the championship game, if not in the championship game. Looking to throw with time, sideline pattern. It's caught at the 10, 5. Touchdown, Hirschi!
Touchdown, Jamie Anderson.
No, they say he stepped out of bounds.
We're going to see it on replay.
They say he stepped out at the 4-yard line. And my mistake, fans, they call it a touchdown before it's a touchdown, but they say he stepped out at the 4.
Well, let's take a look here on replay. Nice play action pass. Jackson floats it up there. You see the pass goes to Anderson. It looked close. I tell you what, it looked close. We may have another replay on it. We'll look in the truck. It looked close, but what it does do is it gives them 1st and goal on the 4-yard line. A great throw and a great catch. Good concentration by Jamie Anderson.
1st and goal. They put it down at the 4. Single setback, Miles, and Miles goes off the left side for about a yard or two. And 5:35 remaining. And the Huskies, as I was going to say before we talked about the 4A, that this could be the last opportunity that they get to take the lead.
Well, you know, it's not only, I don't know if it'll be the last yet, but it's certainly absolutely critical that they put the ball in the end zone here. They can't count on tomorrow. They must execute now. And we'll see what happens as Anderson, the quarterback that started the first half, comes off. It looks like we're going to get a timeout. A little bit of confusion and probably a smart play.
J.J. Jackson looked over the defense and said, hey, something's not right here. And with 5:05 left, there's timeout on the field. And the Huskies will have 2 timeouts remaining compared to the Vernon Lions, who will have 2 timeouts remaining as well. When we come back, it will be 2nd and goal. Ball marked at the 2-yard line. The Huskies trying to take the lead. We'll be back. Now you see the fans trying to get it into this ball game. The Huskies now on a 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Handoff, Miles, touchdown.
Touchdown. Carl Miles punches it in underneath the defense. 2 yards out. Vernon finds himself behind tonight.
For the first time tonight. Here's the score again. And an offensive line hole again.
Miles has been the man in the second half on offense and defense. They're going to take a timeout here. It'll be their 2nd timeout. They'll have 1 remaining, and I tell you, they have to go for 2 points here.
Okay, explain why.
Well, why would you go for 1? Get you 1 point, they're up 16 to 15. 1 point puts you up by only 2. If they go for 2 points and they're successful, they're up by 3. Regardless, if they come down and kick a field goal, they're up by 1, they lose. So they must go for 2 points here.
Okay, good thinking. Good thinking.
They must go for 2 points, and for my money, the ball goes to Carl Miles, and it goes on a delay play, maybe delay up the middle or a delay trap, or perhaps a play-action pass to a tight end.
Play action, there you go. Play action, let Jackson roll out with it and spot somebody.
Jackson has shown he can create tonight. He's shown he can move the team. The team the offensive unit certainly is more confident right now, whether it be Jackson or whether it be the great play of the defense. They're moving the ball. Excellent play by the offensive unit of the Hirschi Huskies.
Now here's what set up the touchdown right here on the long pass from Jackson to Anderson. And Anderson doing a fine job in catching that thing. And he thinks he's in for the score. And I thought he was in too, but they say he stepped out.
They will go for 2. Let's hear the call.
Single setback, Carl Miles. And now they have plenty of time. 15 seconds on the play clock. Had a little confusion. Long count. Play action. End zone. Caught! And should be a flag, and it will be.
Good call, Skip. Excellent call. It should have been a flag. Did we not say play action pass? We did. Once again, the booth at WFTV gets it correct, and I'll tell you what, you can't be more excited than the Hirschi Husky fans. They are on their feet here as you see the replay. They're going crazy. They're not standing on the concrete. They're standing on their own seats, folks. They're standing where they're supposed to be sitting. This place is bedlam on the Hirschi side of the field.
Anderson comes away with the catch. It was Enlow who pushed Anderson out of bounds. And we saw the temper that Anderson had last week in getting into a little altercation. But this time he keeps his cool and says, okay, yeah, you pushed me. The official throws the yellow flag, and we're going to get some good field position on the kick.
Well, you know, what it does really is it allows Hirschi to go ahead and kick this ball out of the end zone. Willie Cherry will not be back to receive. The score is actually 18-15. A little bit. We gave an extra point. You know, we'll go ahead and let that go. It is 18-15 with the 2-point conversion. They're going to kick this ball off. It looks like with a 15-yard penalty from the 45-yard line. Now, Skip, if I'm coach,
are you squibbing it?
Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm squibbing it or I'm getting it, you know, I'm kicking it into Lake Wichita. I don't know what I'm doing in this situation.
Well, if you can't get into Lake Wichita, they get the ball at the 20. If you squib it, you have a chance to at least get it down there, you know, pin it inside the 10 or 15.
Exactly. You know,
or an good onside opportunity.
Precisely. An onside kick would have to go to the 35-yard line. Let's see what happens.
He decides to boot it through, and does, and will not give the Lions an opportunity for the run back, and we are down to a barn burner here at Memorial Stadium. 5:02 left to play.
5:02 left to play, and the Vernon Lions find themselves down by 3 points to the game. The tough, the rising to the occasion, Hirschi Huskies. You know, a lot of folks in the stands here, a lot of the Hirschi fans may not have had a lot of confidence coming to this. They may not have thought their team could play as well as they have. But you know, this team overcame some early bombs from the Vernon Lions and have come out with some bombs of their own.
And of course, they do miss Cherry, who's not in the ball game. Enlow to throw down the sideline. It is out of the reach. Incomplete.
And the Hirschi Husky coaches are calling for some offensive interference. That pass was intended for number 19, Brandon Favors. Coaches out on the field giving the pass interference call, but no flags to be seen.
Well, Favors was getting pushed earlier during the ball game, so he's just trying to get his little pushing and shoving in. And you'll see the officials, they let a little pushing and shoving go on anyway.
Here you'll see the replay, and you can judge for yourself. Enlow goes back to pass. He puts up a high pass.
Now, you won't see it from there.
Couldn't see it quite there, but they did make the call, and as it was, it's incomplete.
2nd and 10. They fake the draw. Enlow has room to run, and now he throws it away. He threw the football away.
Well, you know, I mean, it looked to me like he was throwing it straight down in the ground. and the official came in quickly and said his arm was in motion, but I'm not sure who that was to unless there's some bug or something.
Well, maybe that's what you see Coach Chancellor out on the field right now. Maybe that's what he's talking about. So, who was that pass to?
Well, exactly. I mean, I know there's a new rule in the NFL that allows you to throw the ball away in a situation like that, but I don't think that's here in high school football, is it?
Not that I know of. 4:49 left. And Vernon not hitting the panic button yet, but they give it on the draw play to Billy Gaines. The defense is there again for the Huskies. And as you mentioned, these fans are just really pumped up for the Huskies right now. They know that this will be a big win if they continue to hold on to the lead. They haven't defeated Vernon in 3 years.
A huge win. They haven't won in 3 years, as you said. James McKinney and Brandon Johnson in on the stop there. And I tell you what, you look at Hirschi's pre-district schedule, their non-district schedule. They're tough. I mean, the last 2 years, the toughest non-district schedule in the Wichita Falls area.
No pressure on Enlow to punt. This one will be taken and muffed, and ball is through. Did they get a break?
Oh, did they get a break, folks?
The ball goes out of bounds.
Did they get a break? One of the coaches is going crazy down there. Not sure what he's going nuts for.
A little extra push and shoving going on down there and all that huddle. Here's the replay as it goes out of bounds, and right after that, there was a little pushing and shoving going on.
It will be Husky ball. Coach Tom Chancellor is trying to get his word in there. Hey, Truck, turn up the field mic.
I don't know.
Can't do that. That's against. Can't do that. That wouldn't be fair.
There you see our microphone, that little round thing.
Can't do that. Can't do that. Hey, I cook for that little round thing.
All right, the Huskies get a break. Because on the muff, it goes out of bounds. And we were talking about that on the punt return before that.
Yeah, exactly. Similar situation.
Right, same deal. That time they let it get away from them, but they luck out on the ball going out of bounds. 4:01 left to play in the ball game. Do you go upstairs for more? Do you keep it on the ground? You give it to Miles. To the inside. And Miles is inside the 45 and brought down at the 42-yard line, and a first down for the Hirschi Huskies.
15-yard pickup by Carl Miles, and if you're Coach Tom Chancellor, you couldn't have asked for anything better.
Huge hole.
On the ground, stays inbounds after they spot the ball. The clock will roll, and you've got the lead. You couldn't have asked for a better play if you're Coach Tom Chancellor.
Offensive line. Praises here in the second half. They have really opened it up. But now you still see how Willie Cherry has been the effect of the Vernon Lions as far as not being in there.
Right.
Offensively and now defensively.
Right.
First and 10. Ball at the 42. Long count. On the handoff, this is Eggins. And Eggins will not get a yard.
Stopped there by Chad Thomas.
Trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. He lost about a half a yard on that one.
Stopped there by Chad Thomas of the Vernon Lions. Chad's been in on a lot of plays. Loss of about a half a yard. And if you're Hirschi, no panic here. No panic at all. You've got the ball on the 43-yard line. The clock is moving. It is in your favor. And Vernon has 2 timeouts to work with. Will they take them on the defensive side of the ball?
They're working all the time they can off the game clock and the play clock. They want that play clock to go down to at least 2 seconds, and it does. On the pitch, Miles to the near side. No blocking, but he gets a couple of yards across the 40-yard line. And they
Crucial call.
Well, they say he was already down. No fumble.
They're going to say he was down. Dietrich Morris came out of there with the football. There you see some of the players trying to argue their case. They're taking a timeout. The officials taking a timeout to discuss it, and they're giving the ball to Vernon.
Here's the play.
They're giving the ball to Vernon.
Oh, yes, it did come out of there.
It did come out of there. That is a good call.
One official apparently didn't see it. Another official came in and said, yes, there was a fumble, and they talk it over, and they do give the ball to the Vernon Lions.
3rd turnover of the night for the Hirschi Huskies. The defense The defense is pounding their shoulder pads, exalting each other. Rise to the occasion. You've done so all night. The big gun, Willie Cherry, isn't in there. Hold together, and you can put this game away. 2:35 left to go, fourth quarter.
Enlow on the option keeps it across the 40, still on his feet and brought down at the 46-yard line. And just when you thought it was over, here come the Lions, trailing 18-15. They are 3 points down, and in Texas high school football, of course, a tie is a tie, and no overtime. I don't know how long I've been trying to get them to change that.
We still eat on time, whether it's a tie or it's not a tie. 2 minutes exactly. Clock is moving.
Enlow with 3 wide outs to the bottom. Looks for Favors, his favorite receiver to throw to. He goes to big tight end, though, on the other side. And that is Coker. Sherman Coker tucks it away, and a first down, and the drive continues for the Vernon Lions. Now you see Coach Leo Britton working at his best, mixing it up, going left, going right, moving the football down the field.
And you also see Coach Tom Chancellor telling his defense to settle down, slow down. He's out there telling that they're not in the end zone yet. They're not in field goal range yet. Play your game, play tough.
Enlow rolling out, doing what he does well. Will tuck it away and run across the 35 and bumped out at the 34. You want to try to keep him inbounds, but he does the smart thing to get out of bounds. They only have, they have 2 timeouts to work with. With 1:32, the clock stops. You'll see Enlow do what he does best, and that's run the football.
He's scrambling, he's moving, he's keeping the team going forward. He's not put the ball up here with the exception of the pass to number 84, the tight end, Sherman Coker. So we'll see what happens here. It's a short 2nd and 2. This may be an opportunity for them to pop a play towards the end zone.
Carl Miles is checked out of the ball game. They're a little shaken up on that last play. Enlow throws sideline. Favors with a catch inside the 20, and they mark it at the 19-yard line.
Brandon Favors, probably his favorite target tonight, if you might put a little play on his name. They moved the chains. They stopped the clock. 1:26. There you see the replay. Favors a nice catch and a good throw in between the defenders there by Chris Enlow, the 3-year starter for the Vernon Lions.
An eye on the clock for you. 1:20 to go. Nobody leaving this one early. It is 1st and 10. They put the ball down at the 18. Enlow with time, sideline, caught. This is Frank, and Frank gets out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And you can tell they've worked this 2-minute drill before.
Billy Quintero on the stop, one-on-one tackle out there, a nice job, and they have worked, obviously, the 2-minute drill before. 1:07 seconds left to go. They have the ball at the 17-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. The clock is stopped.
Now, if you're Coach Taylor, do you want to stop the clock and say, hey, settle down, or you just want to let the Lions with the momentum keep going at you?
Well, if the clock stops on the next play, I use my timeout and bring my defense over and talk to them if they don't pick up the first down or the touchdown. And they won't.
Enlow.
They won't.
Enlow that time almost avoided.
Enlow took a timeout.
And the Lions take the timeout, so now the Huskies don't have to worry about calling their timeout.
1 minute exactly to go in this ball game.
That was a crucial play. You see the blitz come up right up the middle.
Andy Ortiz on the blitz made the initial penetration. Number 81, Brandon Johnson, also in on the stop. Good play there by the Hirschi Husky defense. All right, let's set this up. 3rd down and 8 to go. Ball spotted about the 16.5-yard line. You're down by 3. What you don't want to do here is turn it over. You turn it over, that's ball game.
Right.
You turn it over, it's ball game. So what's the method they've used to turn the ball over tonight has been equal. Two interceptions, 2 fumbles. So you can't choose that way. Now, if you're Vernon, what you want to do is you've got to get the first down. I don't think if you're Leo Britton, you don't play for a tie. You don't go loss and you don't go tie. You want the win. So if you're Leo Britton in this case, he's going to play and try to get beyond the 9-yard line. If I'm Coach Tom Chancellor, I go with 4 down linemen and I go with 7 defenders, and I double team the wideouts and I keep 1 defender home to play against the draw. And don't forget, you have to contain Enlow from rolling out. The quarterback draw may be that draw that I'm talking about. 3rd down and 8. Good observation. Let's see what happens. 1 minute left to play. 3rd down. Enlow rolling out. Has room to run and does. Gets inside the 10-yard line and is bumped out. He is close to the 1st down marker. Let's see where the spot is. Boy, ever so close. But where they're spotting it, I don't know. If they've got it by a grain of the football. Here's so close. But see all that room out there to run, and that's one thing I was talking about, having to contain him. The sticks are over there on that side where he went out of bounds at. So that was Carl Miles on the big pop. Let's see what they're doing. A couple of Vernon players down looking at it. They're backing away. So far, no indication yet. They'll bring the sticks on. If he misses it, he's only missed by a little bit. But if he has it, the drive will continue. There's the stretch, and he's got it by a thread of the football. Oh, I tell you, that couldn't have been by more than a grain, a pebble of grain on that leather football that he picked up that 1st down. It was so close. 1st and goal now with just 53 seconds remaining. We're set it up for you. The Huskies lead it by 3. They have 1 timeout remaining. And, of course, the Vernon Lions, who have taken this ball after a fumble and have marched it down to the 9-yard line with 1 timeout remaining, 53 kicks left, and 1st and goal. 1st and goal, a long time there. Leo Britton brought his team out. They've got 1 timeout left, and they're going to take it. They are going to take that final timeout, as there was only 4 seconds left on the 25-second clock, and they would have been pushed back an additional 5 yards. All right, some halftime scores. We haven't got any 4th quarter scores, but it was Boyd leading Holiday 7-0, and it was Denton leading Ryder 3-0, and we don't have any finals on that to bring you as of yet, but hopefully we'll do that when we come back. Oh, boy. Put your seatbelts on. It's not over yet, fans. Stay with us. We'll be back. Now the Lions have no timeouts remaining, so everything will be in the air. So you're going to see Enlow throw for the touchdown. That's right. 1st and goal, ball on the 8-yard line, 53 seconds left. In motion, good catch. Enlow rolling, pressure, block down. Great play. Great play. Andy Ortiz pressured, and Brandon Johnson, the tall tight end defensive end, number 81 for the Hirschi Huskies, with the deflection. You'll see it again, and this is why they tell you to go in with your hands up. You saw the perfect timing on the jump. Absolutely perfect timing by Brandon Johnson to knock the pass away. The only thing it does is stop the clock. Exactly. 49-6 left, but we already told you Enlow will be doing nothing but throwing the football. If you're Coach Chancellor, you put your strong people, your quick people back beyond the goal line to defend. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Enlow rolling out. Pressure put on. End zone. It's incomplete. Again, good pressure being put on, and Enlow is hurt. Carl Eggins. Intense pressure by Carl Eggins, and Enlow is on the ground, and he is hurt. And if they lose Enlow at this stage of the game with 45 seconds left, officials are going to take a timeout on the field. That'll allow the Hirschi Huskies. Well, they're not coming over to talk. They're not allowing him to come over. And Coach Tom Chancellor is saying, hey, the offensive unit is over there talking to the coach from Vernon. Why can't I talk to my player? Now you see Eggins right there put the stick on, and he put that shoulder into him, and that's why Enlow was still out. So he has to go out. He has to go out at least 1 play. Boy, that was intense pressure. Just intense pressure there. Hal Williams will have to check into the ball game, and while they get ready for him to check in, 45 ticks left, and a final Ryder has lost to Denton by a score of 10-0. Tough loss for the Ryder Raiders, their first loss of the season and the first loss in district. Well, now they do allow the Hirschi Huskies to come over and talk to the coach, and if I'm Tom Chancellor, I tell that official, hey, let's let's get it straight here. They spent an entire minute over there talking to the offensive unit.
Really, because all their right, exactly. All their players were huddled around him. Exactly. All right. Well, here's something strange. Let's see.
It will be Williams. Kyle Williams in at quarterback.
Right, okay. Williams looked like he was going to line up in the shotgun, but no, he doesn't. He almost fell the last time he was quarterback, and this time he throws, slant pattern, caught. He reached for the end zone, and they give it to him. Touchdown.
They gave him the touchdown.
He reached the ball over, and that's what it takes to score, was the ball across the plane. But let's see if his knee went down before the ball crossed the plane. Oh, good play. Favors.
Close.
Favors.
Close.
Good play.
We're going to see it one more time from the press box level camera. Let's take a look and see if his knee was down. It was real close. Boy, I tell you what, they gave it to him rolling over the goal line.
See, the ball is across the plane.
Well, we have a little difference of opinion here. I don't think that was a touchdown. I think he was down at about the 1-yard line. Nevertheless, the score is 21-18. They'll try and tack on the extra point.
40 seconds left, and the extra point is good. And what a comeback drive it has been for the Vernon Lions. They took over the football at around the 40-yard line, so it was about a 60-yard drive within 2 minutes, and they have regained the lead 22-18.
And that drive came off the turnover by the Hirschi Huskies. The fumble recovered by Dietrich Morris, the leader of the defense for the Vernon Lions. He came out with the football after a discussion. The ball was awarded to the Vernon Lions after they initially had kept it in the possession of the Hirschi Huskies. There you see the score, 22-18. 40 seconds left for the Hirschi Huskies to take this ball in. We're going to look at it from ground level, I believe.
And now you ask Kyle Williams, after coming off the bench, throwing a touchdown pass, how do you feel? Oh, my.
Here it is from ground level again.
Yeah, that's a touchdown.
The positive call from Skip Boyden on the touchdown. A little tough to see, but I'll tell you what, it was close, folks. It was really close. My money is it's not a touchdown. 50% of the money says it is a touchdown. But nevertheless, it is going to be a kickoff. I don't know if they'll kick it off deep. Back to receive is Kendrick Sapp, speed burner. Sam Walker, speed burner. And Tyrone Cherry, speed burner. So Jamie Anderson is going to also go back.
Ooh, they kick it deep. And let's see if they run it back. They shouldn't, but they will. 5 yards deep, trying to make something happen. And that also took some time off the clock on that run back. The run back to the 17-yard line. The Huskies now with their backs against the wall with 34 ticks remaining, one timeout, and they trail 22-18.
34 seconds left, and if you're Hirschi, you've got to put it up. No question about it. You've got to put the ball up.
And Jamie Anderson is checked out. And they have, looks like Sapp is in the ball game. One of the wideouts.
Sapp, Lewis, and Tyrone Cherry are the wideouts.
J.J. Jackson behind the quarterback, or behind the center, throws this one across the middle. It goes out to Sapp, and Sapp needing to get out of bounds and doesn't.
They've got a timeout. They need to use it. They've got a timeout.
20 seconds left, and the clock is stopped now. They must have called 2 plays in the huddle. The clock is stopped. It is close to a first down. That's why they had to stop the clock. So they say he's short of the first down. They will restart the clock, and they do. 19 seconds, and now he throws it down to stop the clock.
Boy, 2 seconds went off the clock there. That was some costly time that they could have used the timeout. As it is 3rd down and 1, but that is immaterial because it's really 3rd down and 72.
Really, you need 6. 3 won't help you right now. You can see right now the difference of seniors on the field compared to the juniors. The seniors on the far side know how to work that 2 middle. The experience of getting out of bounds instead of wasting a throw down and wasting a timeout.
Well, you know what?
And that is not taking anything away from Hirschi. But that just comes with experience.
That last play was designed to go over the middle. It was not designed to go outside, and it's going to use up time. So perhaps you want to use a play that goes to the outside. Here's a draw straight up the middle.
To the outside.
They do have a timeout. He's got to get outside.
Now,
timeout.
Now they have to use the timeout.
on the clock. The clock will stop to move the stick. Good job by Miles on the run, but and wanting to break it, you forget that you just step out of bounds. It saves you a little more time. We'll see it again. Good run, though. We'll see it again on replay. The delayed draw up the middle. He takes it to the outside, breaks the tackle by Coker, and finally stopped there by number 64, it appears. I don't have a 64 on the Vernon Lions roster. It could be 54, Dietrich Morris. Okay, apparently they say he did get out of bounds because 9 seconds remain. He did get out of bounds. They have one timeout. They still have one timeout. So he must have got out of bounds. I don't know how on that one, but they give it to him. All right. Jamie Anderson has stepped in, the quarterback. He's just one deep, and it is going to be picked off. And that should do it. No time on the clock. The Lions will just run this one back. This is Williams on the return. He loses the football, and to no matter now, this ball game is over. A heartbreaking loss for the Hirschi Huskies. Absolutely heartbreaking loss as they go down by 4 points, 22-18, to the state's 5th-ranked 3A school. And you know what, Skip? I'll tell you, and I'm going to say that Hirschi deserved to win this game. Vernon did not deserve to win this game because Vernon did everything they could to lose this ball game. The Hirschi Huskies played tough. The Hirschi Huskies played smart, and they executed in the second half, and you take away 2 possessions, and Hirschi walks out of here with a big win. Final score, 22-18. Stay with us. Our post-game show is next. What a ball game for the game of the week. Kind of games we like to see here on WFTV. We'll come back with a post-game. Stay with us. Memorial Stadium, and we have 2 quick interviews for you right now with the winning head coach, Leo Britton. And, Leo, what a ball game tonight, huh?
I think the fans probably got their money's worth.
Exactly. Can you touch up on Willie Cherry?
Willie's just an outstanding athlete. He got hurt. He got a neck strain in the 3rd quarter and couldn't play any of the 4th quarter. We hope it's not anything serious.
Okay, you get ready for district action, so hopefully it won't be anything serious because you're going to need that guy in the offensive backfield.
Exactly. He's really juiced our offense up, makes us a little bit more of a potent offense.
What a comeback it was. We can tell that your team has experienced a 2-minute drill because they moved the football down there and moved it down well.
Well, thank you. We're real proud of all of them.
Coach Britton, this is Tim McMillan. I want to ask you, were you a little nervous there with Kyle Williams coming in and taking over for Enlow when he got hurt down there in the goal line?
We sure were. You know, Kyle, he didn't get any reps in practice, but he did a good job.
He executed well. You got to be proud of your boys.
Sure are. We're proud of all of them.
All right, any final thoughts in going into next week's action when it really counts because you wipe all the records away and you start from scratch again?
That's exactly right. We hope we have three seasons, you know, the non-district schedule, district schedule, and the playoff schedule. So we're getting into that second phase of it now, and we hope we do well enough to get into the 3rd phase.
And, of course, you've got to bottle your fans up and say, hey, let's not look forward to that South Lake Carroll rematch. Of course, that's what everybody's already looking forward to, but you've got to bottle them up and say, hey, we're going to go 1 game at a time and go from there.
That's exactly right. We've got to play them 1 game at a time in order to get there.
Good luck next week in Iowa Park, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Head coach Leo Britton of the Vernon Lions. And what a ball game it was here tonight.
An incredible ball game. You know, it's far and away the most exciting game I've done tonight, and I'm not sure that people expected it to be such an exciting game. And if you weren't in the stands tonight and you're just a fan of football, you missed a real treat. Unbelievable ball game. We'll have Coach Tom Chancellor here. He'll be with us just shortly. He's putting on some headsets.
As we talked about, nobody leaving early. That's why there's such a crowd leaving the stadium here tonight. All right, now with us is head coach Tom Chancellor. Tom, this is Skip Boyden from the press box, and I know you must be disappointed, but the team played good tonight.
Yes, sir, Skip. We're real happy with the kids. You know, we went down at halftime 15-7. Andy made that big interception and really turned the momentum for us. And we told the kids, if we'll come out and play second half, we think we'll turn around. Plus, we've made some adjustments in our blocking schemes to block that number 54 at halftime, and they worked real well. We were wanting to establish a running game in this particular ball game to prepare for district. And I think we did that tonight, and we were super happy with our kids.
What did you say to the guys at the half?
Well, at halftime, we told them, hey, we're just one touchdown away from being back in the ball game. And we just told them, hey, we're going to block 54. And so we made some adjustments. Like I said, we double-teamed and then bounced off on a linebacker on him. And our kids did a good job. And, you know, we told them just don't give up. We told them we had 2 quarters prepared for district, and I think the kids took it and played as hard as they could.
We talked about the offense, unable to move the football last week, and then once they finally got that momentum and finally started moving that football here tonight, I know that they really got a good pep.
Yes, sir. We were happy with this game. You know, like I told the kids, first 5 games don't mean a thing. They don't get you in the playoffs. What we want to do tonight, we felt like coming off that last game with Denison getting beat so bad, we had to perform well tonight. And we felt like our kids performed well tonight and felt like it'd be a good bounce into district.
We talked about the defense. The defense played a well game. You take away, of course, the last 2-minute drill that they did on you, but take away that, the defense really played good tonight.
Yes, sir. They have played well all year long, and it's just something they've done. And our offense has been new to our system, and I think tonight it came together. But our defense has played well all year.
Coach Tidd, so this is Tim McMillan also up in the booth. I got to tell you, I was so impressed with the play of your defensive ball players. They didn't stop the whole time, even from the 83-yard touchdown run. They still hung in there and they hung tough. And you've got a young team. Is there anything that you go in and do now as you open district play against a Boswell team here at home that may not be as tough a challenge as this Vernon Lions team?
Well, we're going to tell the kids that Boswell doesn't compare to the first 5 teams we played. So we ought to have a momentum coming into the ball game. Plus, we ought to have the experience of playing good, tough competition, which maybe Boswell hasn't with the exception of Stephenville. So we're going to tell our kids, and we're going to pep our kids up and convince them that playing this tough schedule ought to give us the advantage going into district play in the game against Boswell also.
Well, I know you're looking forward to district action, as you mentioned earlier about playing kids your own size now, huh?
Yes, sir. Even tonight, you saw some 290-pounders out there for Vernon, and you saw the nose guard 220 as quick as a sprinter. I don't think we'll see that in district. So, by facing all that, that has to make us better.
Okay, well, congratulations on the good ball game tonight, and as far as making the changes and the preparations for district, as we know, you wipe the slate clean and you start all over again.
Yes, sir. Everybody starts 0-0, and hopefully we'll have the advantage of confidence now going into district play.
All right. Well, fine game tonight, and good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, head coach Tom Chancellor. What a ball game again it was. 22-18, the final score. We'll come back, give you our final observations, and maybe we can round up some highlights to show you as well. Our post-game show continues as it's being presented by Falls Lincoln Mercury. And we'd like to thank both coaches for sharing their time with us after the ball game, and of course for head coach Tom Chancellor. We know that anytime you're the losing coach, it takes a lot before you can really say, come right out and talk to somebody, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, he was real gracious in his comments, and he's real positive going into district.
Exactly. Let's talk about the second half, as we have some highlights to show you as well. Of course, the first half, 15-7, Hirschi went in with the momentum, and they came out with the momentum as well.
That's right. Hirschi came out, and they, as the coach said, wanted to establish the running game, and they did. It was Carl Miles who established that running game, and he got it going early. Of course, Carl Miles put the finishing touch on something we're going to see, but it was set up by something even more important, a change in quarterback.
That's right, as Jackson came out in the second half and got the team moving down the field to set up their first score in the second half.
Throwing a great catch. Good concentration by Jamie Anderson.
First and goal. They put it down at the 4. Single setback, Miles, and Miles goes off the left side for about a yard or two. Okay, Miles went in for the touchdown after that, and they had a penalty, and we'll show you that play right now, the TD.
Okay. What we were talking about, the pass earlier, was a pass from Jackson, or a long pass from Jackson to Jamie Anderson, where it looked like he had scored. We actually called it a score. Right. Instead, he went out at the 4-yard line. The play you just saw was about a 2-yard gain on first and goal at the 4-yard line by Carl Miles. That then set up the touchdown of 2 yards, the little plunge he did off the right side of the line underneath the defense, which
Okay, well, we're going to go back and look at Anderson's catch, and then we'll come back with the touchdown. Are we ready with Anderson's catch?
Okay,
ready.
Well, they cue that up, but we talked about
15-7.
Right, we talked about Jackson coming into the ball game and Anderson doing a fine job of getting open. And
Skip, you noticed Jackson warming up prior to halftime, which was a clear signal that he would probably come in the second half. Anderson was having a little bit of trouble completing his passes, overshooting a lot of receivers that may have been open. So Jackson came in, and hence the score was the result.
That's right. Now we have the play queued up, and we'll show you that big pass play, one of the biggest of the night for the Hirschi Huskies. Their last opportunity as we take a look at the 4A top 10. Of course, the team I'm looking at is Highland Park. They are going to be tough this year. Stephenville also off to a 4-0 start. A&M Consolidated, who's always close to the championship game, if not in the championship game. Looking to throw with time, sideline pattern. It's caught at the 10, 5, touchdown Hirschi! Touchdown! As you mentioned, we call it a touchdown, but they say he stepped out at the 4-yard line. From there, Carl Miles took it into the end zone, and Husky fans were pumped up and ready to go.
Right, the Husky fans were pumped up. Now, you saw the first and goal from the 4-yard line play. Well, now cue up and show you the touchdown that happened. It was on a second down play, and it was the horse, Carl Miles. Well, we're searching for it in the truck, but we'll find it.
Okay, well, if we don't, we can go on to when they actually had an opportunity to take the lead.
Well, and not only that, they scored, and it made the score 16-15. Okay. Important for them. They didn't. 1 point would not do them any good on the 1-point conversion, so they went for 2. They converted on the 2-point conversion, and so that made the score 18-15. Therefore, a field goal. They'd at least walk away with a tie. But more important than that was this was the third time that they had the ball in the red zone, as you had pointed out, Skip. They had the ball twice inside the 10, if I'm not mistaken, and had 2 interceptions in the end zone twice. Came away with no points. And that's why I say that Hirschi really deserved to win this ball game. Even though, give Vernon credit for picking off the passes, Hirschi played tough, and they played tough when they really didn't expect, or a lot of people didn't expect them to hang tough with a team like this.
Here's the 2-point conversion which you talked about, which was a key play for the Hirschi Huskies. Long count, play action, end zone, caught, and should be a flag, and it will be. Good call. Good catch that time, and he kept his composure. Speaking of Jamie Anderson, and we talked about Anderson being in a little altercation last week. He was able to keep his cool and say, hey, as long as he saw that yellow marker go down, he knew he was in the right.
He was an excitable guy, and he caught the pass. And I tell you what, what's interesting now is we came down to the final 2 minutes of the ball game, and Hirschi had not hurt themselves that much. Couple of key penalties, but they bounced back. And the one thing they couldn't afford was a turnover anywhere in their end of the field or near midfield, and, of course, that happened.
Well, and, of course, you do remember they lucked out on one of them where it was a punt, and the punt was muffed, and then it rolled out of bounds, so they had a lucky break.
That's
and
right.
Then on that same drive of that lucky break, they fumbled the ball away, and that gave the Vernon Lions a chance to get back in the ball game.
District Morris picked up the ball for the Vernon Lions. He's the leader of the defense. He should be there to pick up the ball. He did, gave them back to possession. And on the drive, as the play went along, again, the Hirschi defense played tough, but they allowed them to drive down there, and quarterback Chris Enlow gets hurt.
Oh, Chris Enlow did a fine job before he got hurt, though, in moving that football. You saw the 2-minute drill work the way it's supposed to work.
Right, a lot of sideline passes, stopping the clock. He was able to scramble one time, pick up a key first down on about a 3rd down and 9. It was a real close call, but he did get the first down, set up a series of plays where I believe it was a 2nd down pass, if I'm not mistaken, where Williams came in. He got hurt on the 1st down play where it was Miles or somebody came and hurt his shoulder a little bit.
Right. And then that brought Williams in for the very first snap of the second half for him, and you'll watch how he takes control of this ball game to throw the touchdown pass. He almost fell the last time he was quarterback, and this time he throws, slant pattern, caught. He reached for the end zone, and they give it to him. Good catch by Favors. Favors knew where the goal line was, and all it takes was the plane of the football, and the football across the plane for the score.
That's it. Brandon Favors, that made the score 21-18. They tacked on the extra point, 22-18. Hirschi did move the ball down to about the 50-yard line when they got the kickoff, but time ran out on them.
All right, and they've played an excellent ball game tonight, and they get set for district as both teams get set for district. Now you really see some serious ball playing now.
Vernon takes on Iowa Park in Iowa Park for their homecoming, and Hirschi stays home to take on Boswell, a team that they should beat. If they play like they did tonight, it won't even be close.
Okay, should be a good ball game. Been nice working with you.
Nice working with you, too.
Oh, what a ball game it has been. And we remind you of all the action to come next week on WFTV. We'll have a double hitter for you. And while we talk about that, we'd like to thank all the fine people who had a part of this one, and also doing a fine job in helping us, since we have no spotter here tonight. Kevin Parker, along with Mickey McCann, shouting the numbers to us every now and then. And boy, we really appreciated that when we needed it. Huh?
They make us look good. All these people you see on the screen make us look good, brought you the great replays and the great camera angles. Want to let you know that we will be covering the Hirschi-Boswell game as well as the Old Hyde-Burke-Burnett game. You'll see both of those right here on WFTV, the best seat in the house. And also want to remind you to go ahead and watch Sportsline every Tuesday night. I'm one of the hosts along with a couple of my partners, and we'll talk about what happens in high school football. High school football is brought to you on WFTV by Falls Lincoln Mercury, Humphrey Printing, Apple Chiropractic, Union Square Federal Credit Union, Wichita Furniture, Sammy Ellis Allstate Insurance, Parkway Grill, Dental Works, and the Ramada Hotel.
I'd like to thank everybody who had a part of this one. For Tim McMillan, I'm Skip Boyden. We'll see you next week for a doubleheader action, as next week's action features the Hirschi Huskies taking on Boswell and Wichita Falls taking on Burke-Burnett. For everybody who's had a part of this one, I'm Skip Boyden, along with Tim McMillan from Memorial Stadium. So long, everybody. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Your college choice could be the most important decision you'll ever make. During college, you'll probably decide on a career, broaden your intellectual span, and meet new friends. You should consider your college choice carefully. At Vernon Regional Junior College, we're large enough to offer a wide variety of programs, yet small enough to provide support and encouragement. Visit VRJC and see for yourself how we offer the best in quality education. Cross the bridge to a richer future at VRJC.
This portion of Vernon Lions football provided by Calvin Funeral Home. The Otis Smith family and staff are proud sponsors of the Fighting Vernon Lions.